Mayor Sheffield, and I want to say that the East Side, particularly on the Gold Coast, the river area between Belle Isle and Cadillac, things have changed. If you go down Jefferson now, you'll see a new high, well, not quite a high rise, it's 4 stories, and that particular building is going to be affordable housing. We want to see more of that pure affordable housing, pure, not with the median income. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this, and we look forward to working with you all of you in the future. Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge how this all got started. There are those of you who are curious about what is the Community Advisory Council. Our charter created the councils. And the fact is that there was a process for getting in each district, 7 districts, there's 3 so far that are operating, but there's a process in the council, in our charter, that created the citizen community councils. Help me, I'm getting a little bit frustrated. But the fact is that because they have been created, citizens have an opportunity to be directly connected to their elected officials, especially our city council persons, the mayor, and all elected officials. As chair of D4, I saw an opportunity not only to engage the 5 members of our council, but to get our citizens involved. So I helped to create, and our council supported, the creation of work groups. We have 7 work groups in District 4. And because of those work group leaders, you'll see one today that is an overperformer. He's the reason that this summit has really come to be. We had a summit last year at the Eastern District of the Wayne County Community College. This is our 2nd year, and we're growing and excited about the fact that D5 has joined us. And so we look to have the entire East Side involved in this. We have all the elected officials that represent us as citizens invited to be a part of this summit, and those that you see seated at the table and others to come accepted the invitation. So this will be your opportunity as citizens to have a direct voice to your elected officials. And for that, we want to tell Toy New, if you would, stand up, Toy New Reeves, and be recognized for the hard work that he has done. He is our work group leader over economics, and he joined forces with our governance work group. Bob Sisler, would you be acknowledged? The 2 of them worked hard together to make this happen today. There are 5 council members. I'm going to just have all of the D4 council persons stand that are present. There are some not present. D5, okay, let's get all of our council persons standing from District 4 and 5. CAC. Some that are not here, believe me, are hardworking in our community. Before we get started formally, I was wondering if there's someone who'll give us a short prayer, because we like things all decent and in order. Is there anyone who'll give us a brief prayer before we go to our next agenda item? This young man. Is he coming?
Good afternoon. My name is Darshell Strickland Love. I work with the City of Detroit. It's good to see all of you here. So just for a brief word of prayer. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we know your will for this city is for us to prosper and grow. Let everything that needs to be said during this forum today be said. Let questions be answered. Let statements be made. Let truth be told, but let your love prevail in this place between all of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So at this point, we're going to turn this mic over to our moderator. Understanding everybody has had opportunity to dine royally, we want to thank the kitchen staff that's under Latanya for putting the food together. And Kiriana. And we're going to pass the mic on. And we're going to acknowledge our sin who gave us this food. Let me acknowledge.
Greetings, everyone. So it's been a long time coming, getting to this point, and a lot of people who've been working behind the scenes. I want to again thank Ms. Latanya and Ms. Kiriana for putting the food together and providing such a wonderful menu for everybody. And we also have to thank Congressman Sri Tenandar for his generous donation to make the food happen as well. Thank you, Congressman. I also like to thank Mr. Lynn Wiggins with D5CAC and Mr. Theo Pry with Detroit People's Platform for all their support behind the scenes and helping to put this program together. And I'd like to thank, first of all, the panelists for being here. We sent, of course, I'm sorry. Just so everyone knows, there's a lot of questions about who was chosen for the panel. They chose themselves, okay? So we sent an invitation out to anyone whose district has a blade of grass on the east side of Detroit. They were invited to this setting today. Understand that some people don't want to come and answer questions, and this is not something that's organized by the city or by a government official. This is organized by the community ourselves, and we're holding the microphone, okay? So we get to cut them off for public comment now this time, okay? It's very brave and courageous to come and step here. And at the same time, to make this thing happen, I want everyone to understand that every one of you is most important. And please give everyone here a round of applause for that purpose. We know that we've been facing a lot of dire situations on the east side of Detroit in particular for a very long time. When we talk about the East Side Summit, it's not just meaning east of Woodward. What it means is it's a generalization for all those parts of Detroit that get less attention. And we think that it's time for us now to start looking at this in a more critical and a more substantive way. I want everybody to take a deep breath and to relax. This is going to be a very different environment than what you're used to. The reason I'm saying that is because I've been getting phone calls from every one of the panelists. 20, are you sure people aren't going to start screaming and yelling and screaming? We're from the East Side. We know we have that in us. I'm not going to deny that, okay? Let us know where you're from, okay? Don't worry about that. And on the other side, I'm hearing a lot of, are they just going to dance around the question, going to answer questions? So everybody has questions about everybody, okay? But I want everyone to know that we all came here. Everyone here came here because we care, and we're willing to take this much time out of our Saturdays to come up with a substantive way forward for the east side of Detroit, okay? So many of you would have received the packet that went around. If you haven't, we can email it to you, but we have a set of topics and set of questions. This is not going to be hard and fast. We're not going to stick to this necessarily. Our primary focus is always going to be on solutions, okay? Eastside, I know many residents have frustrations. We're going to allow you to voice your frustrations in a respectful manner. But after you voice your frustration, please present solutions. And on the opposite side, on the panel side, we know that you've done a lot for residents as well, so you have an opportunity to share that. But at the same time, let's focus on solutions and steps forward, okay? So I'll just kind of read briefly over the main topics that we have here. And then from there, we'll go into the direct discussion. So number one, the fierce urgency of now. So many residents continue to voice frustration and disappointment, feeling our elected officials are not truly fighting for us. So that's going to be the first discussion. The second discussion, jumpstarting the East Side economy. Some argue that a focus on downtown was needed to rebuild Detroit, but with sections of Detroit, Barron and others that haven't recovered since 1967, at this point we find it difficult to justify. And more importantly, some of us may find it even appalling. Topic number three. equitable and economic security and fiscal independence. Property taxes and income taxes and rain taxes are paid entirely by Detroit residents. After the 2008 housing crisis caused major losses in property tax revenue, governments nationwide were able to switch to other tax forms, but Detroit didn't have that. We went into bankruptcy. So given the current crisis that we're facing in Washington, D.C., and the ones we faced in the past, how do we provide more economic security for ourselves? And then number 4, we want to hear from state and federal members about the federal budget issues, what we're facing, and how do we come up with solutions for that. And then finally, education. So generations of Detroit residents have been systematically deprived of standard education, depriving them of economic mobility, et cetera, and we need to come up with solutions to make the Detroit public school system actually work. So again, our focus here is on making solutions and coming up with commitments here. We know that we're not going to be able to do everything here at this one setting, but at the same time, we're going to see how much we can get accomplished. And hopefully, by the end of this session, we'll be able to say to ourselves and to the city of Detroit that whatever happened here in the Economics Summit on October 4th was a major and meaningful step forward, and that we were here when it happened. Thank you all. I know you're going to be here. What up, though? Yeah, you can come sit here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We want to give an opportunity. Horace, can you turn the volume down just a little bit? Okay. I'm sorry. Before I get started, I want to give a very brief shout out to Representative Veronica Paez, because when we sent out the request, her office responded within 15 minutes. They were the first to respond to come to the summit. Thank you very much for. And I'm sorry to thank her staff as well for that. Okay, we're going to open up with a very short, brief statement from each official. First, introduce yourself, and then you can give one statement about what your office actually does, what the limits are. Many people don't know who does what for them. And then also, if you want to share one meaningful legislation that you've done in the past cycle. Thank you. We'll start with Representative Paez.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? We can hear you. You can hear me, okay. Thanks. State Representative Veronica Paez. My district currently encompasses Harper Woods, where I live, the 5 Grosse Pointe communities, and part of the east side of Detroit, which includes Morningside, Cornerstone Village, East English Village, Yorkshire Woods, and the Moraine area. So basically it's all along the shoreline from 8 Mile down to Alter, over to just west or north, depending on how you're facing, of I-94, back up, snaking around to Kelly Road, and then up to 8 Mile. So pretty compact there. So this is my second term. Detroit, as you know, was redistricted after the first term. My first term, I didn't have Morningside in the district, but I did have part of Macomb County. So I've lost that, gained the Grosse Pointe communities. So Speaker, or former Speaker, now Representative Joe Tate, has moved down to Detroit. So real quick, we're all state representatives are allotted 2 staff members. I have a legislative director, James Sklar, who has some experience working in state legislature, and also he's working at the White House doing an internship under President Obama. My constituent director is Abby Locke. Abby lives up in Lansing, so she's pretty much in the office all the time. My staff generally works remote on Mondays and Fridays, so that we can be out in district doing activities on those days, or taking meetings, virtual and otherwise. And a meaningful piece of legislation. So probably what's important to me, at least, was a bill that I had that passed the House but didn't make it all the way through lame duck. it was the Right to Read Act. So it's a library bill that essentially, I can put it very diplomatically or the other way, I'll do the other way, which is it would pretty much ban the banning of books. I believe in our First Amendment rights. This is the way to do it. This legislation would state that if you wanted to challenge a book, you had to live within the library's service area. So you can't come up from the UP or Chicago or something and challenge a book. It would have required libraries to create a policy which would also protect librarians, because then if somebody was challenging something, they could say, hey, we have a state policy here. This was somewhat prompted by a case a couple of years ago where someone wanted to challenge a book or have it removed from a library in Genesee County, I believe. The Genesee County prosecutor wanted to arrest the librarian and prosecute her. That didn't happen. So, and a few other things, but basically it was around First Amendment rights. It was around, simply it sounds reading, but you know we've all been to a library to get some kind of information, not just novels and not just children's books. We've done it for study or other things. Anyway, I've gone on along, and I'll pass that now to Congressman Banadar.
Okay, I just wanted to say briefly before we go to the Congressman, if you can limit your response, I know it may be difficult, to just 1 minute, please.
All right.
Okay.
Don't talk like me.
Okay. All right. So my name is Shri Thanedar. I'm proudly representing Michigan's 13th congressional district, all the way from the Grosse Points through the city of Detroit, down river communities, all the way to Romulus. So when I go to the airport to go to DC, I'm always in my district. There's just a lot of, are two primary things we do: bring federal dollars to the community projects. We have brought about $25 million of federal dollars to our community just in last 3 years. And then we have solved about 3,400 constituent services. So when you get frustrated with the federal government and you come to us, we help you solve the problem. Whether you're trying to get IRS refunds or get qualified for Social Security, any issue that you have with disability benefits, VA benefits, when you come to us, we solve those problems. 3,400 constituents came to us in the last 3 years, and we helped them. In terms of meaningful legislation, there is just too many, but I supported the reparations. John Conyers, who has introduced the reparation bill, and then Sheila Jackson did. I supported that. I've done some bills on low-income housing and also making strike pay tax-free. That's one of my bills. But I'll pass on to Councilwoman Mary Waters.
Well, thank you. I think I'm on, right? Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mary Waters. You can't? This somebody said he can't? Okay, all right. I'm Councilmember Mary Waters, and I represent the whole D. All right, so let me just say I'm a former state representative where I served as the first African-American female floor leader in the history of the Michigan House of Reps. For the 6 years, until I was term limited, I never missed one day of work because I take my job seriously. So, a couple pieces of key legislation that I sponsor since I've been on city council is tenant rights and compliance. Now, I wanted to share that because I believe that housing is going to be one of our key issues that we will discuss here. Tenants Rights Commission is a 9-member commission that we formed, and that is to help people to address, this is basically a rental ordinance. The other piece of it is a compliance ordinance. You all may or may not know that we only have about 11% of our landlords are in compliance in this city. All right? So now, and for those who who are deliberately allowing people to live in deplorable conditions in their rental space. People can now take their monies and put their rent into escrow. Our Housing Revitalization Department is setting that up as we speak. It's time out, so we need them to be in compliance. If you look at other cities across this state, they're like 90 and 100% in compliance. We don't even know who some of our renters are in this city. So it's time out for that. We intend to hold them accountable. And let me just say a shout out to my fellow breast cancer survivors. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, there we are. Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here. I would like to first thank the entire Eastside community of the city of Detroit. And I don't want to say East or West, which we're not going to get into the East or West.
Yeah, we are.
But I will say it's been an honor to represent a large portion of the east side of this city. I want to thank all of our dedicated block clubs, the organizations who step up every day to ensure that the east side is advocated for. So first and foremost, just want to say thank you. I do want to start off by saying I will have to step away a bit early. I do have another obligation, but I wanted to physically be here myself just to remind residents of my commitment to addressing the issues that matter to you. I represent District 5. I've been serving on the council now for 12 years, and I have devoted my time to ensuring that everyday issues are elevated from a policy perspective. Some of the issues and policies that I am proud of that we have accomplished is, one, we saved the home repair grant program back in 2014 when that program was going to be eliminated. And every single year I have fought for funding in that program, $2.5 million every year. We recently got up to $40 million for home repairs for our seniors, but we know that we still need far more to ensure that people who need access to grants actually have it. I created the city's first ever neighborhood improvement fund that actually takes money from downtown Detroit, some of the projects, and it goes into a fund that can only be used for neighborhood development. So I'm very proud of that as well. We also created the city's first ever right to counsel ordinance that has protected thousands of renters from being evicted from their homes because they now have access to an attorney for free. So very proud of that work as well. I've also been used my position to advocate for and shed light on the issue of overassessments and the issue of the need to reform our assessment process. We passed the City Council's property tax reform ordinance. Very proud of that, but we do know that there is still far more work to do around the issue of overassessment. We also have passed the Industry Standard Board Ordinance, which essentially allows for our industry and service workers in Detroit who work in arenas, who are security and janitor workers throughout Detroit, the opportunity to organize and mobilize for better pay and working conditions, which I'm very proud of as well. And then lastly, just want to mention that we have been very aggressive at raising the issue that we know that times have changed in Detroit and politically across this country, and we have to start thinking about how we diversify our revenues in the city of Detroit. So we have been pushing research around an entertainment tax, a local sales option tax, or different ways that we can bring in revenue to fund these various programs around housing or infrastructure or transit so that we can address the myriad of issues that we have here in the city of Detroit. So I just want to say thank you. It's been an honor to serve. If I do have to step away, we do have one of my lead policy team members that is here who is going to be taking notes to ensure that I am able to take back any concerns and solutions that you all may have today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Eastside.
Eastside.
My name is Donovan McKinney. Unlike our council president, I am going to shout out the Eastside. I'm born and raised on the Eastside.
There you go.
And
there you go.
on the Eastside right
That's
now.
That's what's up.
Eastside, the best side, y'all.
That's what's up.
Amen. Amen. For those who don't know me, again, my name is Donovan McKinney, state representative in the 11th House District. That includes Northeast Detroit, so Persian Osborne areas going north of 8 Mile into Macomb County and the south side of Warren. So right now I represent the poorest House District in the state of Michigan. $14,000 is the median income. 14. So when I think about what I have to do day in and day out, the only Detroiter on appropriations serving in the House of Representatives, these past 2 years, the last term, I brought home over $4 billion to this city. $4 billion. And if you send me to the next level, you're gonna see what I'm able to do. And this term, literally, we just got done with the budget a couple days ago with some late nights, but I brought home close to $2 billion to the city of Detroit and the Wayne County. We protected and backfilled the Medicaid cuts that are coming from Trump and his fascist regime. We protected SNAP benefits and food assistance for every Michigander and low-income family in our state. We also protected water affordability funding. We protected CVI funding, over $16 million coming to the city of Detroit for CVI. 16, up from 10 million that I fought for last term. I mean, the list goes on and on. But literally, my thought process and what I do day in and day out in Lansing, when I travel these streets, when I go to our neighborhoods, when I talk to our family members, you know what's top of mind for them? The kitchen table issues. People are fed up, day in and day out, trying to figure out how to survive, let alone thrive. And so we need elected officials, including us at the table, to make sure we fight like hell every day to bring resources back home, and that's what I'm doing for you all. And that's what everybody at this table is doing, well, some of us. Some of us are busy promoting ourselves. But I will say this, and I'll shut up and pass the mic. I love y'all. Y'all catching when I'm laying down, right? Yeah, y'all picking it up. I will say this, and I'll leave the mic. My wife and I, we have 3 children right now under the age of 4 years old. And why I got involved, I have 2 baby boys, 3.5 years old and 18 months. I have a new baby girl. She's 6 weeks old. And when I'm holding her in my arms, and it brings almost tears to my face right now, I think about their future and what it would mean to live in this city. And I remember growing up in this city, and the late aughts, so the late 2000s, early 2010s, when it was said that the east side of Detroit and one of the master plans coming out of Detroit Future City, that made I don't know if y'all remember this, they made the entire east side of Detroit green space. And it was a signal to me and my generation, the millennials, who are now in our 30s, raising our families. Don't come back to the city is not welcoming you. And I remember that. And I take that with me every single day in the halls of Lansing, and I will take that with me when I go to DC. And we have to fight for our humanity and for our livelihood right here on the east side. And we need not only resources, but we need a vision and a plan. And I don't want to hog the mic because I got to pass it. But we have a new deal for Detroit. We have a new deal for the 13th District. And I'll leave it there. And it's an honor to serve you guys right here in Lansing. And I'm going to continue to fight like hell for you in D.C. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello, hello, hello.
We just started, but we're just introducing ourselves, so they'll come back to you.
Horace, can you turn the microphone on, please? Hello? Hello? They got 15 microphones here. Hello? 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 Okay. We want to introduce Councilwoman Letitia Johnson. Thank you for joining us. Everyone can give a round of applause, please. D4. We're just giving although there seemed to be a time warp here, we have a 1-minute speaking time, okay? So we want to give you an opportunity to share what you do for the district and also one piece of meaningful legislation that you can discuss with the members here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Letitia Johnson. I'm the District 4 City Council member representing the far east side of Detroit from Gratiot 7 Mile to Gratiot and McClellan all the way to the water. It's been an honor to serve District 4 for the last 4 years. I appreciate the support. One of the things I've been focused on doing and intentional about doing is making sure that there are projects happening throughout the entire district. Before I took office, there were parts of the district who felt like they were left out. And so it's been my focus to make sure that we have projects happening throughout the district, making sure that there's support for all of our communities in District 4. A piece of legislation that I am most proud of is the Community Land Trust ordinance that we are working on, looking to have my colleagues support as we finalize that before the end of this year. A community land trust, so they're messing with my microphone, Toynu, as you're trying to get access to yours. Hello? Okay, very good. I use my outside voice typically anyway. And so a community land trust gives the community the opportunity to acquire land and to develop the land in the best interest of the community. We are looking to have resources for those community organizations. And lastly, I will share that there is currently an RFP that's out for any organization that is looking to stand up a community land trust to access some dollars to be able to stand it up. So it's up to about $150,000. We have a total of $700,000, and we're looking to provide support to organizations throughout the city of Detroit so we can really start to show how community land trust can be beneficial and implementing development that is for Detroiters and at a Detroit AMI, but we're also looking to gather support from our federal colleagues and state colleagues so that there is a CLT fund that helps to provide dollars to develop those properties. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your introductions. I just wanted to add a few things. So we have a few people that are going to be rotating in and out. Representative McKinney has to leave, and then Representative Phillips Myers will be taking his place. Senator Chang will be taking his place in the second half of the session. So we're going to have one person from the state level throughout the entire session that'll be rotating in and out. I also want to make sure that we understand that the CAC did everything that we possibly could to make this as fair and balanced as possible. Council President does have an invitation as an elected official. We also invited the other mayoral candidate to attend. We were given a notification by his committee that he would be here presently. So he may be arriving late. We haven't got any further information from that. And also, Council President is sitting here in her capacity as a candidate. So we invited the two D5 candidates to also appear, and they said that they will be appearing when they could as well. So we did everything possible, even though this is for elected officials, to make sure we didn't try and steer the election in any particular way. So we did all of our best. Thank you. We're going to go right into the topics now. As mentioned, the first topic that we're going to discuss is the fierce urgency of now. I'll repeat, I'm going to give you a few brief background statements and then an introductory question for the panelists. First statement, many residents continue to voice frustration and disappointment, feeling that our elected officials are not truly fighting for us or for the core values of the Democratic Party. There is a growing perception that urgency and passion are missing. Instead of being proactive, it is as if officials are looking for excuses to give up. As an example, the city refused to return the $600 million that were illegally collected in property taxes, citing a very narrow interpretation of the quote-unquote lending of credit clause. Some residents feel that if Trump had been in the same situation, he would have just cut the checks for his constituents and didn't even want to take them to court. So frustration leads to voter apathy, and voter apathy leads to right-wing extremists controlling our government. So two questions. Question number one, what specifically do you see as hindrances that are preventing you from being more proactive and more effective in advocating for residents? And then number two, how do you intend to advocate more fiercely for Eastside values moving forward? Congressman, you have your hand up. You can start.
So-
I'm sorry for interrupting. 45 seconds.
Yeah.
I'll give you another 15 seconds, 1 minute, okay? We will cut you off. Not just you, but everybody here in the panel.
Absolutely. I think that $600 million belongs to the people. They were taken unfairly, and they should be returned. No excuses to be made, legal or otherwise. We are spending a lot of money from ARPA. That is about a $400 million of surplus the city has. That all should be used, and people's money should be returned. In terms of serving the people, when I saw in the United States Congress the spending bill that Trump has proposed, and it is not including health care for our people, I voted against the spending bill, and if that meant shutting this government down, so be it. I voted to shut this government down because the government wants to shut down our health care. The government wants to take away our ability to pay for health insurance, doubling our health insurance premiums, and doubling our copays, and this is not acceptable. This is going to kill hundreds of Americans because of lack of coverage, lack of Medicaid. So I'm fighting for you in Washington, D.C.
Thank you. Anyone who wants to, you can please.
Well, testing. So the question is, what hinders us from being effective in advocating for our residents? And I would definitely say one thing is some of the state law that preempts the city from moving forward on things. I think also making sure that we have strong leadership both in Lansing and federal government to ensure that they're providing the proper funding for some of the issues that we are advocating for on a local level. As it relates to the $600 million that happened here in Detroit with the overassessment, we were told by our corporation counsel that there was a lending of credit issue and that legally we could not provide direct cash compensation. However, we did, and my office, along with I think Stephanie Chang at the time, Senator Stephanie Chang, did sign on to a letter asking the Michigan Attorney General to do an independent review and to provide a legal opinion on whether or not that was true. I don't think we ever got to respond to that request, so we continue to fight. I think the solution to this issue, though, does lie back in Lansing, which ultimately is providing tax credits in the amount that residents were overassessed that would be phased in during a certain amount of times. And I would love for our leaders in Lansing and in the federal level to help with that, but I think that is a fair way to address the issue of overassessment, is providing credits in the amount that residents were overassessed.
I just wanted to clarify, the question is not specifically about the $600 million. Let me just say it. So that's an example, right? So we're talking about broadly speaking. Again, the broader condition of the Eastside itself is such that it's been neglected for a very long time. It's not just about one single issue. We can even bring it a little bit more down to earth. So for the CAC, for example, D4 and D5 CACs are not provided any funding. All of the CAC members work for free. And if you want to put on an event like this, you have to come out of your own pockets to make it happen. And so when the CAC is asking for support, whether it's for media services to come down here and do the recording, or to provide some type of support for us to do this type of an event, one way or another, I'm not going to go through all the different email back and forth, but one way or another, it's like, we can't do it because of this, we can't do it because of that. And the point is that I think it's just a matter of, if you understand that there's something roadblocking you, how do you get past that roadblock? Because there's always going to be roadblocks in everyone's lives. How do you get past those roadblocks? Do you find hindrances in the rules? Why aren't we changing the rules to make them more effective? Do you find certain individuals that are roadblocks? We want to hear what are those roadblocks that you're facing? Yes.
Anybody want to go? Okay, cool. First of all, great question. I'm gonna be completely honest. We have to get rid of the money in politics. Now, that's what hinders us in Lansing. I got legislators that I work with who are scared to do the right thing on behalf of the people because they feel like the corporate interest is going to come in, spend money, get you guys to be confused and dumbfounded and vote for another candidate instead of the one that's going to really fight for you. And so the money interest in politics, the corporate influence in politics is what's going on. So I introduced some legislation last term, I just reintroduced it 2 months ago, that takes all corporate monopoly money out of politics in our state. I don't know if you guys heard this. Yes. I don't know if you guys heard this. They're collecting signatures right now. The State Board of Canvassers approved the language based off of my legislation that actually puts it on a ballot, and guess what? It's going to pass if it gets on the ballot because it's polling at 90+%. No matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, white, black, yellow, brown, it doesn't matter. We have to take our power back as people. And then when I get to the other side in D.C., first thing I'm gonna do is what? Overturn Senators United, because these corporations should not have the same rights as us individual people. They are not us. That is really what's hindering. That is the crux of every single issue. The reason why we can't get what we all deserve, especially on the east side, is because of the money in politics. I'm very passionate about it, brother, because I see it every damn day. And the current congressman right over here is all about that money, so.
Just like, let's set a few ground rules here, okay?
I know.
We understand that there's an election coming up.
I know, y'all. I'm passionate about this, man. We're going to take our seat back.
We want you to be passionate. But I'm just telling you right now, this is, so. Can we ask everyone to calm down, please? So we're not saying that there's no truth being spoken, but the point is, right now, the focus is on children on the east side of Detroit right now, and other residents who are not being served. There's going to be a time and a place for everything. If we go back and forth like this, we're not going to have time for anything else. And I know people have to leave pretty soon. Everyone's giving me time that they got to go. Let's keep the focus on our people here, okay?
Well, let me, excuse me. Can you all hear me?
So if there's any issues from the audience, we are going to be giving an opportunity for audience to make their questions and make their statements as well. Let's hear from the panelists first. Thank you. Councilmember Waters.
All right. I certainly know all about the money myself, personally. I had $10 million spent against me last year, and no damn body stepped up to say a word about it. Nobody spoke out on that. Where were the people then about putting things on the ballot? Where were the people then about getting rid of Citizens United? If you can get rid of that U.S. Supreme Court, then perhaps we can do something about the money. All right, so enough of that. Anyway, listen, since I've got to that Detroit City Council, I have turned over rocks and everything else trying to find ways to make sure that I help all of our communities. Starting with holding that doggone land bank accountable. Trying to make some reforms there. They've been taking private property under the nuisance abatement program. I recently asked that we go back and renegotiate our internal government agreement between the state and the city of Detroit. These are some of the things that are holding us back because Tornu, people who are trying to acquire a house or some land on the east side are being denied by that land bank. We have to fix that. It is holding our people back. You all know that poverty has up in this city. I think about what to do day and night, and we are being proactive in trying to identify some things that we can do. So the first thing.
So your time is up, but I want to ask you a follow-up question. Yeah, but since you're talking about the land bank, what specifically do we need to do to get that land bank reformed? Because you've all been on council for 4 years now. What next has to happen? Tell us concrete steps that need to happen.
All right. Okay, so the first thing is that the memorandum of understanding is going to be back in committee next week on Thursday. All right? In that memorandum of understanding, they still have that NAP program in there. I want it removed altogether because it gives them the opportunity to take private property. I cannot get the 5 votes to do that.
Okay, wait, so can you tell us where?
I can't.
Can you tell us how far you are away from those 5 votes? Councilmember Waters, how close are you to the 5 votes?
Pardon me?
We got 3 people right here. How close are we to the 5 votes?
Well, Listen, I would not kid you. I cannot get the 5 votes to get rid of the NAP program.
How many colleagues have you talked to?
A lot of them. And plus, I've been holding up this MOU for the past year and a half. Trying to make it happen.
Who are we missing?
I mean, the amendment, the recommendations has been on the table for the past year and a half.
Okay, should I ask the names one by one? So Councilmember Waters, yay or nay?
Now you're asking me to get in trouble with my colleagues.
I'm not asking you anything. You got the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't I ask, is there anyone here that sits on the Detroit City Council is willing to vote to eliminate that NAP program, that nuisance abatement program?
Wait,
you trying to put me on the
Excuse
spot
me,
here.
quiet down,
I didn't want to
please.
do it.
Quiet down, please. We want to hear from the council members, okay? Now, if they don't want to speak, they don't have to speak, okay? We can't say something's not okay, okay? If someone's asking a question, the question is a perfectly legitimate question. We want to know, as residents, how far are we from getting things done on city council? It's a very simple question. And I'm not trying to make anybody uncomfortable. You can say that you don't vote for it, you haven't decided, or I won't vote for it because A, B, C, and D. There's nothing wrong with giving the residents answers. Okay, we can pass the microphone, whoever wants to speak.
Okay, so I sit on the Planning and Economic Development Committee where this MOU has been sitting for the last 2 years. There have been numerous amendments that have been proposed, but what has not happened is the individuals who are interested in amending the MOU I haven't had any conversations with anyone on whether or not I support this amendment or that amendment. As it relates to the nuisance abatement program, what is the nuisance abatement program? The nuisance abatement program potentially pursues property that are vacant in the city of Detroit. The law department has the ability to do that. The law department has been doing that for larger speculators like Dennis Kefalanos, right?
Exactly.
So I'm not sure if Member Waters, instead of the land bank doing it, she wants the law department to do it. I will say this. When we see properties that sit vacant for any length of time in the city of Detroit, usually we have neighbors that are asking us to do something with that property. So do we want the property to decay and have it be torn down? Do we want somebody to come in, take possession of it, and rehab the property if that property owner cannot do it? Which one do we want as community members?
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
Yes, ma'am, Council President,
completely.
Council President, before I let you answer, you will get a chance to answer. I want to clarify, okay? We just want to know, like, are we broadly in support of it? There may be all sorts of little nitty-gritty things you guys have to sort out yourselves, but are we in broad support of it? Council President.
So I completely echo the sentiments of Councilmember Johnson. I've never been approached or asked if I support removing the nuisance abatement program. Secondly, hold on, let me just finish. Secondly, in order for the land bank to be dissolved, it would take both the mayor and the council to both dissolve the land bank. That's secondly. Thirdly, we get calls all the time from our office of vacant, blighted structures who they want the land bank to go out there and take the nuisance abatement property from, right? And oftentimes, that is the only tool to do it in a quick and fast way. And so I think there's room for reform for the program, but I do think it's a tool to help clear vacant and blighted land within the city of Detroit. So, Member Waters, I would love to hear your proposal. We haven't submitted it to me, Member Johnson, but we would love to.
Madam President, oh my God. I have sent that proposal around.
Okay,
you
got 30 seconds to respond, and that's all.
I've sent the land bank issues around, oh gosh, for the past 2 years that it's been up. I've sent it around. You know, hey colleagues, a personal note from me saying, hey colleagues, which one of these can you support? I sit there at the table and I argue about the nuisance abatement program. Listen, I'm not here to yell at my colleagues about anything, but I want to eliminate that NAP program. They are taking private property. These are properties you might go to the Wayne County auction to purchase, right? All right. So they come by and say, well, that grass is too whatever, whatever. Next thing you know, people are in court and losing their properties. How in the world are we going to create generational wealth with that kind of behavior? I want it back in BC.
Okay.
Let the city do its job.
That's the point of the nuisance abatement program.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. What we're going to do now, so this question again was about the individuals, about each member in the panel sharing what they feel are hindrances, okay? So I believe that what we've identified is a hindrance in terms of our ability to communicate with one another on city council effectively. What I want to say is that we want to see how because it doesn't help us to have different understandings about what has to happen and that this person hasn't heard that amendment. Those things can happen in chambers, and at least within 2 years it should happen by now. So it's not about one person being pointed out as being negative or another. I think that we have to see how to do that more effectively because guess what? In the end, we're the ones that lose on this in this situation. Okay. Okay, so Council President has to leave now, and Reverend Kinlock has just joined us. Reverend Kinlock, before we let you have the microphone, we're in the middle of just finishing this last round of questions. We'll come back to you if that's okay. Representative Paez, it's your turn.
Oh, thank you. Oh, are we set?
Oh, yeah, okay.
The second one.
The topic 2. Okay, we'll come to that. Yeah, we're going to go to Kinlock and then come to topic 2. I'm sorry, Reverend Kinlock.
Twanu, can I just say, I think one thing that is drastically needed on council is for us to be unified as a body, which is not how we are today, and you can hear that. And so I think it does take for a lot of communication behind closed doors in order for that to happen.
Well, what prevents that communication from happening?
I don't think so. I think I get along with everybody on council. I think things move very quickly, and we're all extremely busy, but just Thursday, I shared with Member Waters that I am willing and open to sit down with her on the amendments that she just recently presented to have a conversation to get a better understanding, because you can have something in writing but not have a thorough understanding of what it is that's being requested to determine whether or not you want to support it and to seek other colleagues to support it as well. So I've already reached out and had the conversation. So my team is working on connecting with Member Waters as well as the Housing and Revitalization Department to see how we move her amendments forward.
Thank you. Reverend Kinlock, thank you for joining us today. You can make an introductory statement. You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the extension of the invitation in order to share constructive comments and criticisms. I think we're at a pivotal point. We're at an intersection of opportunity and choice. And what is certain is that we cannot stay where we are, neither can we afford to go back to where we came from. We can only do one thing, move forward. It's interesting that you brought up the land bank. Is interesting because when I'm going from community to community, that is a major concern. And it's a major concern because the land bank started out being a tool that we wanted to use in order to move Detroit from being the largest real estate holder. We need to go back to what it was intended to do. We need to go back to reminding people of that. What has happened is that we've forgotten that it's a tool to be used. And you got to make sure that you put the tool in the right hand. It's in the wrong hand. That's why November is so important, because you need to make sure that the next mayor understands how not to just use the tool for big business, but to use it for the citizens and the residents in the city of Detroit.
Okay, so now we're going to open it up to questions from the audience before we move to the next topic. We're going to take 5 questions, and this is how it'll go. Shh, can everyone please listen? If you want to make a question, you can raise your hand. There are index cards that are going to be handed out, and we'll be passing on only 5 cards this time. Jason, Greg. Five. I'm sorry. Number 1, Gregory. Number 1 goes over here. You can continue passing them. I'm going to start with her and continue after that. So we're going to ask, so like this, you'll have exactly 20 seconds to ask your question, okay? You have 20 seconds. You'll have 2 minutes for responses. If your time elapses, we go to the next question, okay? If you do not use your entire 20 seconds, then you can ask a follow-up question, okay? You'll have 20 seconds. If you don't use all of your 20 seconds, you can have a follow-up. The responses will be 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes are over, it'll go to the next person. Go ahead.
I don't think my mic is on, but I can project.
I'll hold it, sir. My name is Alexandra Nichols, and I've been on city council a lot of times about my property at 4031 Leslie. My property was stolen from me, and I'm so glad that these folks have spoken on the land bank, because my mom passed, and so my name was on the deed. When it passed and we only got a few seconds, I gave all of my information to the land bank, to Wayne County Treasurer, to UCHC, was supposed to bid on my property. My mom passed while I was in grad school in California, but my name was on the deed. They changed the locks on my home, had it set up to sell in the land bank, of which when I was in California, they told me there wasn't a land bank, it was only a Michigan land bank. It was being newly converted. Long story short, my home was labeled as blight. UCHC was supposed to bid for it back. They let them investor get it and changed the locks and sold my home through the land bank, even though they knew it wasn't supposed to be. Wow. I was supposed to be getting these Raffaelli refund.
You ask your question.
My question is, what are you going to do for those of us who on the paper it says my home was sold for $12,000 in the land bank, but there's no register of the person buying it in the land bank. I was on the auction. I know he bought it. What are you going to do for us? The people, I'm not going to get it. I'm in Russell Woods, historic
we'll give
district.
them an opportunity to respond.
How am I going to get my money?
Thank you very much.
How's the city and the land bank going to help me get my property back?
Thank you. We'll give 1 minute for responses.
So, yes, that is something that you can pursue, but it sounds like the property was lost or it was taken by the county for foreclosure.
I have the hope exemption. They used my information against me.
So it's something to look into, because I can't understand how it was taken from you if your name was on the deed and ended up in the land bank's purview.
Exactly. I came home from California, my locks was changed. I was doing the renovations on my home.
So I'll get your information and look into it. Okay.
And how long ago was that?
The home was sold in 2016. Wow. And now there's no money on the Raffaelli on the list for me.
Okay. We want to keep the questions. I know that everyone has specific issues here.
I got you.
But the question should be general issues for residents broadly who are facing this issue in the East Side. So, no, I'm not saying that it's not, but when you formulate your question, let the question be specifically about how do we change this law around and what is the specific problem that we're facing as residents. Next person.
Okay. My question, can you hear me? Okay.
Testing.
Okay. My question is, how do we get tax justice? How do we?
Testing.
Testing. Okay. My question is, how do we get tax justice when billions of our tax dollars are being given to the developers and their buddies at the expense of our school children, our libraries, the land value scam, the tax on your rain that you pay monthly, the over-assessing, over-changing, taking your property, and then after they over-assess you and overcharge you, they come back and take your property. We need to know exactly where do our taxes go, because we're seeing it to go to everybody but our neighborhoods. We're feeling neglected and disrespected.
Thank you, Congressman.
Well, great question. I think the issue here is the corporations. The corporation has an inside track. And what happens here is that the corporations get tax breaks, tax rebates. And basically what happens is that's the money that we could be spending in the neighborhood to making a difference in our neighborhoods. So what happens here is taxes for the residents who living here for decades, their taxes, their water bills, this keeps going up, while the corporations get away with $800 million of tax breaks, and it's so easy to get them to get this kind of money, but when we try to get our $600 million back, that we got overcharged, we get all kinds of excuses from the city, and we got to keep fighting that. And I totally agree. We got to remove this influence of corporations who are trying to fatten their bottom line and trying to take advantage through our elected officials. And when the less influence on elected officials, getting rid of Citizens United, all of this is essential to ensure that our elected representatives work for the people, not for the corporations.
Okay. Can we have a quick pause? Quick pause first. Horace, I need this microphone to be on.
This one is
Hello?
on.
Hello?
That one on.
Yeah, hello? Hello? This microphone has to be on. This one here has to be on. Hello? 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 Can you test, Greg? Can you turn it on or keep it on?
Testing.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello. Hi, my name is Kimberly Hanser. I live on Morningside. I live in Morningside. So my question is, I think when you came in earlier about if you bought a lot, right? And there is legislation or potential legislation moving forward so that we can now develop those lots. If you're rated R2 in your district, I was on a call about that, and I'm just trying to find out when is that going to be voted on? Because people who own some of the lots in the neighborhoods can be their own personal developer without having a large corporation backing you to build, if you choose to build, so that you can meet the housing standards. When is that going to be voted on?
So that hasn't come before City Council yet. The administration has been talking to council members about it. We anticipate a vote before the end of the year, but it hasn't come to the body as of yet.
Okay, we're going to take, I'm sorry, just my
All
borders.
right, so I'd like to respond to that. I just met with some community organizations today. They are not in agreement with that ordinance as it currently has been drafted. And so there are some conversations that will need to happen. We don't want to hurt our communities throughout this city. So we've got to make sure that it is right when it comes to council before we vote on it. Right now, we have a lot of community organizations that are opposed to it as it stands.
We're going to pause here on the audience questions in the interest of time. You can hand them the index card so you'll maintain your order. We'll just continue with the next topic, and then when we open up to comments again, you'll stay in your same order. Excuse me, Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda,
Two major things that you asked about that I need to speak with the council about.
Miss Brenda, you can.
Point of order. Point of order.
Sorry, Miss Brenda, we'll make sure that you have your opportunity to speak, man. We will make sure you have your opportunity to speak, and we'll come back, okay? Would you stay? We have to go to the next topic in the interest of time because people have to rotate in and out of the session, okay? Sorry about that. We want to recognize House Rep Tanya Myers Phillips. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to go to the next topic, and we're going to... Okay. So the next topic, jumpstarting the Eastside economy. Some argue that a focus on downtown development was needed to rebuild Detroit. With sections of Detroit, Barron, and others in stasis, that haven't been recovered since the 1967 uprising, such an argument is difficult to justify in this day and age, and some people even find it appalling. A pivot from downtown corporate welfare. Number one, small businesses, not large corporations, are the true engine of U.S. macroeconomic growth. Small businesses create 60% of U.S. jobs and 40% of output. It has generated over 40% of U.S. GDP since 1990. Community investment. In Tulsa's Greenwood district, also known as Black Wall Street, according to the Brookings Institute, a dollar would circulate 19 times in that community before it went out. Today, according to the DEGC, Detroit residents spend about $2.6 billion each year on suburban goods and services, particularly groceries, restaurants, and business services. There's money in the ghetto. According to Dr. Martin Luther King in his speech before he was assassinated, individually we are poor, but collectively we are richer than all the nations in the world except for 9. That's power right there if we know how to pool it. Today, the annual income of Black Americans is more than $500 billion, comparable to the revenues of Spain and the entire national budget of Australia. Solutions. Number one, the East Side doesn't need handouts, it needs a hand up. That starts with leadership to reimagine possibilities and to realize Wendy Lewis Jackson's mission of development without displacement. How do we accomplish development without displacement in Detroit? Number two, the Marshall Plan, or a Marshall Plan for the East Side. In post-World War II recovery, the U.S. spent $133 billion to rebuild Europe. The East Side is facing its own post-crisis recovery after generations of disinvestment and systematic neglect. Is Detroit in need of a bold, coordinated East Side recovery program that comprises community members, elected officials, mission-aligned financial institutions, and local philanthropic organizations? I'm going to open up with House Rep Pius because she's been waiting, and then go to Congressman.
Thank you. I am going to skip back actually to the second part of question one.
Sure, you can repeat it and go
right,
ahead.
which I think flows into the other ones. So how do you intend to advocate more fiercely for East Side values moving forward? I want to say first that I've lived in just about every part of my district. I've lived in Morningside, Corville, and Mac. I've lived over at Chandler Park and Alter. I've lived over on Cadju, and I think it was Sioux. And my husband lived over at Kensington and Warren for about 17 years. So I know, even though that was a while ago, I still know a little bit about what's going on there. I also want to say that I sit on the committees for finance and for agriculture, and the caucuses for Detroit, which I hear from my fellow reps also about Detroit. We discuss what's going on and what's needed. I also am a member of the Latino Legislative Caucus, so I like to stay up on issues of our different communities. Also the Legislative Disability Caucus, the Poverty and Homelessness Caucus, and the Labor Caucus. I'm also a member of the Great Lakes Legislative Caucus, and I really love being on the Agriculture Committee because I find those two things. So I see someone over here who's been holding a sign for a little bit talking about stop illegal foreclosures over assessments. So I can tell you right now that part of what we need is people working together. So I'm working with Representative Amos O'Neill out of Saginaw right now on some housing legislation which would also address foreclosures. I was working with Representative McKinney, who's not here right now, but we were also working on a bill package that would address better notifying people with disabilities of foreclosures in their properties. So just wanted to go there for a moment because I think how we can advocate is often through, at the state level at least, through working with our fellow reps. I know, you want me, but I'm going to keep it real quick because I'm verbose.
Please wrap it up.
Okay. So
You'll have more time to discuss other things. So.
Okay, well, real quick, the budget I think is one thing. So last term, I was able to get $2 million in budget funds for the Eastside, for East Warren Development Corporation, for them to build their farmers market. So my interest in agriculture goes with that, also with urban gardening, and also some small funds for arts and scraps for STEM programming. And this year I tried to get some funding, didn't come through, for Sound Mind, Sound Body, for
Thank you. I'm
their
going to cut you off here. I'm sorry.
So that's just it. I think working together, working with our communities individually throughout the city, and hearing from you, coming to things like this, and I'll pass it over.
Thank you. Congressman first. The topic again is to remind you, we want to see how to rebuild the Eastside economy. How do we create opportunities for Detroit residents to start building equity in their community, own business in their community, rather than outsiders coming and developing it for us?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And look at the black wealth that was destroyed in Tulsa massacre. Billions of dollars worth of. Right here in Detroit at the Paradise Valley, the back bottoms, billions of black wealth was destroyed. We need to close this wealth gap among the black community that we have. The billions of dollars that you mentioned, $500 billion of money that gets spent by the black community, but that money doesn't stay in the black community. It goes all outside of the community. The best way to do is create entrepreneurial opportunities. Look, I grew up in poverty. You know, poverty, like dire poverty, no running water at my home. I grew up when many nights I went to bed hungry. And I understand the struggles people have. And I got my education, started a small business, grew the small business, and through the small business, I was able to create wealth. And that's what I would like to see every black kid in the East Side to be able to create that kind of wealth. And we need to help that. And one of my proposals is to create $100,000 to grant or a interest-free loan to every budding entrepreneur in the black community that can start a business and grow a small business and create this national wealth for his family and himself.
We want to ask you a little bit more about your proposal, okay? So we want a little bit more details. So if I understand you correctly, you're proposing to set up a fund that's going to provide $100,000, is it loan?
It would be a interest-free loan.
Interest-free loan to, is it to any small business or to strictly to
I think it will only be done not by race, but it will be done by economic standards. So anyone under a certain economic income, annual income, would qualify for that loan. It would be collateralized by the small business. So they're not going to come to you and say, what's your credit score? They're not going to ask you what your assets are. You will be able to get that loan because it will be collateralized by the small business. And therefore, you would be able to use that money to start your own business.
So more about this issue, because it seems like a promising opportunity now.
Yeah.
So one thing that some members in the community were looking for is a community investment model. So what that means is maybe individually I don't have enough money, as Dr. King was saying in his speech, but collectively we may all have enough money to start a business. And so in that case, would you be willing to support investments, particularly for these type of community investment models, number one? And number two, rather than making it into an interest-free loan, or if you make it into an interest-free loan, can that loan be repaid with the tax dollars that are generated from that new business?
Absolutely, that's the idea. That's the idea. But look, we need to invest in our own community. We need to invest dollars in our own community. What is happening here is that people are coming from suburbs, opening up businesses. If you know, downtown is beautiful. I love downtown. but everywhere I go, I see so few black-owned businesses in downtown Detroit. A lot of the people coming in are people coming from outside and taking black dollars, taking them outside of our community. It doesn't stay in Detroit. Downtown is becoming so unaffordable for black America. You know, whether it's the parking, the food, the tickets to the, so charge the tickets that outsiders are buying at our sports venue. Use that money to invest in our neighborhoods so we can start new businesses and create more black wealth here in our neighborhoods.
So I'm going to have to, so I think that everyone understands like the points of view. If we can kind of keep our points a little bit more crisp, because audience members are asking to have, to be included as well, and we have quite a few panelists here. So we can keep our responses. I'm going to ask now to bring it down to 45 seconds. I'll give you 30 seconds. I'll type after 30 seconds. You'll have 15 seconds after that. Councilmember Johnson.
All right, thank you. So I just want to share that last year in July of 2024, my team and I hosted a developer summit that was targeting black and brown developers to help guide them through the process of doing development in the city of Detroit, particularly in District 4. As a result, we do have, and I won't say as a result of that, but we have a number of black-owned businesses in District 4 that have recently opened up. Redesign and Restoration on Jefferson, Antidote Detroit on Jefferson, the Savoy on East Warren. Of course, we have the Neighborhood Grocery, Morningside Cafe, Beach Room, Sound Mind, Sound Body, Anchor Detroit. All of those organizations or businesses are run and owned by black Americans, by black people. And so we just need to support those organizations and those businesses just to make sure they stay in our community. So we are looking to double down next year on another developer summit for black and brown people so that we build on the vacant land that's throughout District 4 by us and for us.
Specifically about low-income households, we know that there are people, we're not saying that there aren't black people that have money. We know that there are black people that have money, but the people who are getting shut out of the equity investments are the people who are low income. So just having black developers is a good step in the right direction, but how do we open up equity investments for the resident on Mack and Bewick? How does he get involved, or how does she get involved in ownership of equity in Detroit? Because Eastside doesn't have all of these different, community, Westside has so many of them, right? They have so many economic corridors. The East Side doesn't have, very many at all. So how do we start including low-income households in that discussion?
So that is actually a conversation and work that's being done within the community land trust discussions. Sorry,
we don't want to go back to the community land trust. We're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't understand, but specifically I'm talking about businesses, not like about. Okay, go ahead.
So with the community land trust, you can actually work on and own a business, set up shop on a business on vacant land. There are some conversations with some models. There's a model that encompasses about 8 neighborhoods on the east side that is doing a community investment model that gives lower income residents the ability to buy a share, and regardless of how much money you invest into it, you will still have 1 share and 1 vote.
Okay. How do we get it on the east side? We heard about it in the Southwest.
That is east side. That's Common Grounds. There are a number of different organizations that are involved. Genesis Hope is leading the work along with Maggie DeSantis and a number of different individuals that are working on it to develop the model, to create the model, to introduce it to the community.
Okay. Councilmember Waters, did you have your?
Okay, so thank you. Couple things that we've been doing. One of them is that I'm a co-sponsor of fast track legislation so that will help people be able to start our business, eliminate some of the red tape. For example, if you were opening a restaurant on the east side, whatever side of town, you no longer have to purchase a license here at the city level because you already have to have one at the state level, right? So that helps to cut down on some of the red tape. We are working hard, our colleagues and I, trying to identify ways to eliminate red tape. The other thing that I do as minority, as the chair of the Minority Business Task Force. We do an annual Minority Business Summit, and we also do workshops that teach people how to become vendors of the city. Listen, if you have a service or product that you offer, that you can offer to the city, you need to become a registered vendor with the city. We want to support and push our small businesses. We sit at that table week after week and approve millions and millions of dollars. I don't see enough of us coming through there, and I'm sick and tired of it. So we need you. If you are an entrepreneur, make sure that you do that. I also want to encourage our people from various neighborhoods to work together. If you want to start a business, a clothing store, or I'm just using that as an example, a restaurant or whatever it might be, pull together, work together, so that you can make sure all of your resources pull together so that we can open that business on the east side or in Southwest Detroit, wherever that might be. One of the problems that we have a lot of times as a community, we don't want to work together. We have to do it if we want to win, if we want to be, what? Okay.
Okay, so.
Yeah, let me say one more thing.
All right.
As an elected officials, I'm going to tell you, everybody that represent any part of the city of Detroit, we need to have quarterly meetings. I used to admire John Dingell when he was a congressman. You know what he used to do? Quarterly. He would pull together state legislators, everybody who was elected to an office, and he'd say, what is it that you need me to bring back home from Congress for you? That's what he used to do.
Okay,
it was so
thank you very
effective.
much. So, hello? Okay. So Council Member Waters raised a good point about community investment models, also Council Member Johnson as well. Congressman, there was an act under the Obama administration, the Jobs Act, the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Act. That act has remained dormant. So it's talking about the things that Council Member Waters is speaking about right now. If a group of individuals in the community wanted to pull their money together to invest in a business, a local business, presently the federal law prohibits that from happening. The Jobs Act was supposed to enable that to happen. And not just for the congressman, but are we all in support of collectively pushing in Washington, D.C. to make that Jobs Act activated so that we can see these type of models that we want to do here in the community?
Yeah, I introduced a bill recently that will give special tax breaks to any donations to food banks.
No,
similar, I could certainly.
let
me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
All right. So a proposal that we are looking at currently is that a similar breaks so that if we are investing in Black America in terms of economic growth, in terms of starting new businesses, then making it easier for them to be able to get that money. So community money coming in addition to the federal government money coming in, is essential because this needs to be a public and private and community partnership to make it happen.
At the state level, so Congressman introduced having tax exemption for small businesses, minority-owned businesses and low-income-owned businesses, I should say. At the state level, we have a lot of these tax abatements in greenfields and brownfields and everything else for multi-billion-dollar developers. For a small, developer or business owner, can we not see the similar type of tax exemption for low-income business startups? House Rep. Phillips.
Good afternoon. Okay. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to see everybody on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. This is the A team in here. So, my name is Tanya Myers Phillips, and I'm the state. I'm with you on the sign too. Okay. But I'm representing House District 7, which is pretty much kind of the northeast side of Detroit, central side of Detroit, all the city of Highland Park, and the entire city of Hamtramck. So glad to be here. And I can share some things from the state perspective. You know, in the summary, I wouldn't say that we're there yet at the state level, not yet. But people are pushing to get things going in the right direction. So I want to share 3 things that I think are on point. We just passed a budget. Thank goodness we got that done. So no state shutdown. That was tough. That was hard, but it's a good budget overall. And the things I want to highlight that relate to this question is there was how many people are familiar with the SOAR Fund or heard of the SOAR Fund here? Yeah. Okay. Well, essentially that was kind of like to your question, you know, a pot of money that was reserved typically for larger mega developments in industry. So that SOAR pot, that was about $50 million, that didn't make the cut. I think people weren't feeling that as much this year, so that's good. Then there was also a very large development, a mining development in the Upper Peninsula. I don't have anything against the miners, but it was a lot of money. I believe that was also $50 million that would have been concentrated into one business. So that didn't make the cut. So I feel like there's more of a legitimate conversation now of how to do economic development for smaller industries. Now coming over to some things that are actually helpful, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, again, a lot of times, and you know, I'm just serving my first term, so I am still connected to a lot of the CBA advocacy. And a lot of times it seems like in Detroit, in the public meetings, they kind of pop up, you know, with the larger economic development projects. But actually their funded mission is to provide free technical assistance to any business, even if you have just the idea. You can talk with them and get technical assistance on how to get started, how to grow, how to scale up, where's the resources to match your business needs, you know, whether it's, again, a startup or whether you're further along. So that is their state-funded mission. So you can call them and reach out and say, I would like that assistance. If you are not connecting with them, you can call me and I will connect you with them. You can call my office. So take advantage of that free state-funded assistance for all businesses. And you're welcome. And last thing, I'll hurry it up. In the budget cycle, the Michigan Black Business Alliance received a grant as well. And has anybody heard of Michigan Black Business Alliance? Okay. Real quick, you know, yep, we disagree on some things, we agree on some things, but what we can agree on is that they, you know, their mission is specifically tailored to help Black businesses. So they did receive funding to expand that assistance. So give them a call, get that assistance. Okay, so those are a couple of key developments from the state. Again, I am interested in exactly what you're talking about. I don't think the state is there yet, but I am interested in pushing it along.
Okay. Before we go to Councilmember Waters, I want to ask a question to all panelists here. So the second solution that we're talking about is an economic recovery plan for the East Side. So we have a lot of different ideas, things about tax abatements, the loan, free interest loan that the congressman recommended, and other things. Can the panelists commit to creating such a recovery program for the East Side of Detroit? That means mobilizing personnel, yourselves, your offices, people who you know. And you guys have big Rolodexes in the philanthropic community. You have big Rolodexes in terms of people who have professional expertise in finance and so on and so forth. Can we count upon you here today to assemble this organization within the next 6 months before the next summit?
I am absolutely committed to it, yes.
Yes.
Are the cameras recording?
Yes.
Can we get a zoom in each of the?
We've been looking for answers, so that's an easy one. And can we count on you to help us out?
I'm here.
Because
I'm already here.
You know, I know what skills. Huh?
I thought you were talking to Shrew.
Oh, well, him too. Okay, yeah. We need. I was talking to Tor New, but that works.
Well, we need it at both at state level, city level, and Congress level, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not done yet. I just want to say, because I heard what Representative Phillips said, I wanted to just ask you a question. I also started a program called Next Up 313, where young folks between the ages of 18 and 35, we teach them how to start a business, how to grow it, and how to sustain a business. And today I was meeting with a group of people who said they need technical assistance. So how can they get those dollars? I mean, this is right on point. I want to be able to call them tomorrow or later today and say, here's what you need to do. Can you give us that number or whatever we need to do, or email? Okay, she's going to look it up and give it to all of us, because it is really needed. And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're gonna let the last council member and Rep. Pius, before we go to the audience questions. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. Kind of a downer here, but I think we need to remember that in the State House there are 110 of us, so it's very difficult, especially this term we're in the minority, so it's difficult to move that forward. Also, being 110 of us, a lot of people tend to think that Detroit gets too much. So it makes it even more difficult for some of us to move forward with that. Having said that, I'm willing to work with anybody on development. Councilwoman Johnson has been very available to me whenever I need an answer to something, or I want to know how I can do something. She's probably tired of me, but I give her a call or a text and we can discuss something. So I really appreciate that. I do want to, this woman over here has always relevant and pointed science. She was talking about reparations. That's not going to happen, unfortunately, in the House. However, I've met a few times with, I can't remember the name of the group, who's interested in reparations. There's a California law which passed. So they look at that model sometimes. We have to figure out a plan on how to do that so that we can go back and pay attention to our wealth, generational wealth. Thank you.
Statements, we are tiny, so be cognizant. People are leaving. We've got a community that does want to speak. So when the card goes up, your time is up.
So my response to the question is yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to open up for audience questions as well. Again, just to remind the audience, you'll have 20 seconds to ask your question. Listen, so you'll have 20 seconds. You can ask your question shortly and ask multiple questions in that time. They'll have 1 minute they'll have a total of 1 minute to respond going forward. Question number 3.
Good afternoon, neighbors. Brenda Faye Butler, coal miner's daughter here. I'd like to say a special good afternoon to the Honorable Tanya Myers Phillips in the house. My statement, I don't have questions, I have statements and suggestions. Based on the conversation that we spoke on, that the topic that was in the very first session, the conversation was regarding tenants' rights, right to counsel, and the rental ordinance. What I would like to suggest, and I'd like to say that State Rep Phillips did a heck of a job for this community on starting that program for tenants' rights, the right to counsel. It just took us a long time to get the money, but we must thank her today. So what my suggestion is on that topic is, as an advocate in the community, I had the opportunity to work with a renter that went through those different steps. So what I'm suggesting is, what is left out of those 3 ordinances is a landlord should not be able to take a tenant to court if that landlord has not registered his or her property as rental property to abide by that ordinance. We must add that into one of those amendments. We have people being put out and evicted because that needs to be added to that ordinance.
Can we have a quick show of hands? Who is in support of the suggestion that we're presenting right now? Okay, can you repeat your statement again? So I think what you said before, what you said is that what she's requesting is that a landlord cannot take a tenant to court if he's not registered as a rental property.
No, the law does not say that. It's not in the ordinance that, what is in the ordinance reads that the tenant must register their property. The landlord must register their property. If the landlord does not register its property, how can you take a tenant to court?
Okay, Ms. Myers, do you want to, sorry, Ms. Phillips, do you want to, sorry, Representative
Well,
Phillips.
it's really, right now it's on the city level, so that's who really needs to straighten it out.
Okay. So first of all, who is in support of it? And if you're not in support, you can just state briefly why you're not in support of it.
Yeah, I am a yes on this.
Okay, thank you.
Hell yes.
Councilmember Waters.
Well, first of all, when you draft ordinances, everything has to be in accordance with state law. We can't do anything that supersedes state law. The reason these landlords have so much power in the first place is because of state law. Many of you might recall when Chief Judge Bill McConaughey tried to hold the landlords accountable in his court. He basically was denying them the right to go after the renters simply because they were not in compliance. Thus, Michigan Supreme Court slapped his hands. That is exactly what happened. So we have to go back to our law department, all right? And we have to make sure that everything is in accordance with state law. Okay. I don't know what the law says off the top of my head, but that's exact, to put that in that ordinance.
We want to get through as many questions as possible, so in the interest of time, I'm going to ask everyone to keep their responses short. All right. And also, just clearly, so we don't know all the different legal structures and all type of things, but the point is, do we want to make sure that this provision is made to protect residents? Yes or no?
Yes, I can say that.
Okay, that's good. That's
okay. All right.
Next.
And my next statement is.
We have a lot of people behind.
My next statement is.
We can't give a next statement. Ms. Brenda.
You talked about the $600 million over assessment. Okay. So what I want to say about the $600 million over assessment, it has not been solved with the community. Those programs that were set up has not satisfied the community. So we need our council members to go back and look at that. Thank you very much.
You got it. You got it. We'll look at it.
Good afternoon, Council.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Well, briefly, thank you, Senator Chang, for joining us today. She did inform that she's going to be here at 4 o'clock, and she's here 5 minutes early. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is James Chandler. I'm actually a write-in candidate for City Council District 1, so I'm representing District 1 right now. My question was about reparations. Mary Sheffield, they left. She never mentioned that she had a reparations task force and what they was going to do with that. I was speaking with James Tate also about reparations in each district, which he kind of didn't want to do that. I think that would add more pressure to the states. We've been sitting on a $3 billion budget for years, and Donovan just mentioned that he had $4 billion, and where is this money going? They've been cutting money, billions of dollars, and giving only a little bit to Detroit. as I'm hearing, again, this is a city issue, not a state issue. I had a policy in mind about the tenant threshold law, where it shouldn't be no foreclosure unless you have overpaid rent of 6 months. I think that would be more reasonable. It's been a 6-month, 31-day thing with the Supreme Courts. That was just.
Do you have one question you want to ask the panel? Any one question in particular?
Yes. What are they going to do about the reparations part and this $3 billion budget? We're supposed to be over that.
Okay. So, what is the status of the reparations task force? If anyone wants to make a brief statement on the reparations task force.
Tolu,
yes, ma'am.
The Reparation Task Force has not submitted their recommendations to the City Council. They have not done that as yet. I certainly, I've passed along some things that I hope they would consider, but we're waiting to hear from them, their recommendations.
Councilmember Johnson and then Congressman.
No, that's correct. We gave them an extension for them to submit their report because they were going through synthesizing everything that they wanted to submit to us. So we're awaiting that report so we can take action.
Okay, Congressman.
Well, look, the city voters approved this commission, and it's taken 4 years. We still don't have anything. I've been to their hearings. I made my presentations. Look, I've been supporting reparations at the state level. I have been supporting reparation at the U.S. Congress level. And the city must set an example and take action. These recommendations should not be keep delaying and delaying. They need to present those recommendations, and they need to be approved as soon as possible. So this delay is not acceptable, and this isn't as complicated as people are making it out to be. And we have models. There are other states in California. There are cities who have implemented it. In the state of Illinois, this has been implemented.
Okay.
This can be done.
Thank you.
This can be done.
So maybe I'm being a little bit too subtle, but when I'm doing this, this means you have 15 seconds left, okay? So, yeah, I'm trying to be as polite as possible, okay? My mom is in the audience, okay?
Don't be polite, Tolu.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, Eastside family. My name is Professor Bernadette Atuahene, and I'm with the Coalition for Property Tax Justice. I have 3 quick questions for Reverend Kinlock. Number 1 is, I would have liked to see you at a lot more community events and forums. I'm wondering why this is the first time I'm seeing you. Number 2, we at the Coalition have a first 100 days plan where we have done a lot of research and we have laid out simply what needs to happen in the first 100 days of the next administration for us to achieve property tax justice. Some of those are our current assessor, Alvin Horn, currently does not have the qualification to be the assessor of a city this size. You need a qualification called the MMAO. He doesn't have it, and so what they do is they have another assessor come and sign our roll. If you get elected as mayor, Reverend Kinlock, can you guarantee us that you will appoint an assessor who has the proper qualifications? That's the first question. Second question is, we have something called the PRE. The principal residence exemption. That's basically if you're an owner-occupier, you pay less taxes than a landlord. Right now, it is illegal. I'm a property law professor. It is illegal to have for an LLC, no matter who owns it, to have a PRE. We currently have found 900 LLCs that have a PRE. We have the research. And then on top of that, the assessor just sent out 6,000 letters to everyday homeowners like y'all, and then if you didn't respond, he removed the PRE. My question is, why were not these LLCs and corporations not prioritized? That's a low-hanging fruit. If you have an LLC, let's remove that PRE. Instead, we have
way over your 20-second.
Okay, yeah. So one second. Okay.
I know, but I'm sorry. I also have a question for Shree as well.
Hold on. Yeah. So one, I'm suspicious that you already know who you're supporting for mayor. Are you supporting Mayor Sheffield for mayor? You are, well, okay,
We're
let's
a
move on.
501c3.
Let's move on. I can tell
501c3.
by the phrasing of the question.
501c3.
Because
Okay.
secondly.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry.
Secondly,
Yeah.
I want to say this. Secondly, I want to say this. I'm running for office. My opponent is already in office. And so these are things that she could have pushed for the last 12 years. When I become the next mayor of the city of Detroit, I can make you the Kinlock promise that when I'm at a table, I will always make sure that I'm fighting for the citizens in the city of Detroit, regardless of what area you're talking
But I'm
about.
asking a very specific question.
Listen, if we're talking about taxes, taxes ain't just something that just started. Every administration has to deal with taxes. But when I stand up here, or any candidate stand up here and tell you that we're going to change the tax structure when we become mayor, we can't do that alone. That takes legislation. That takes community. And so although others will come and make you promises that they know they can't deliver on, I'm going to tell you what I will do. I will fight to systematically and structurally fix it so that taxes are not
But I'm asking
disproportionately
two specific-
superimposed.
Wait. Let me just try and moderate this a little bit, okay? So, I just want to. So, first and foremost, I think that Reverend Kenlock, I apologize. We shouldn't be asking questions specifically about candidacies, okay? Professor Atenue, she has been fighting tirelessly for Detroit residents in a big way. So let's acknowledge
I'm
that
not
as well.
minimizing that.
No, you're not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask her to ask you a question very briefly, make it very clear, and let not just that Reverend Kinlock, but for also the, other members on the panel to answer as well. Okay.
Right. So, of course,
So the
specific
first
question
question, yeah.
is, are you in favor of removing the PREs according to the law for the LLC? First one.
Okay.
Second,
We'll stop there.
Yeah, okay.
Now let them answer.
I'm receptive in exploring anything that takes the burden of, yes it is, because I'm not, it's one thing when you're running for office.
It's fine.
It's another thing when you get into
Let him
office, you
answer it.
lift
It's
up
fine.
the hood and you see what you got to work with. When I become the mayor of the city of Detroit, I will explore and look into that, and all options would be on the table. Mary Waters, you want to say something?
Can I respond very quickly?
I wanted to say something.
Yeah, Councilmember.
All right,
yeah. Both you can respond.
Yeah, all right. So here's what I want, and I'm glad that Dr. Bernadette mentioned the LLCs because they are just a sore spot in my you-know-what. I asked Lansing representatives and senator, I've asked them to create a law, to pass a law that will make these people identify themselves. You know what Real Token did? They had 165 different LLCs. It was difficult to find them. The law department had a hard time. They're down in Florida somewhere, it turns out. But this is how they get away with it. It's so hard for us to hold them accountable. We can't do this alone. We need your help, Lansing, please, with those LLCs.
Okay, wait. Before I let you respond, Councilmember Waters is making a request to her partners in Lansing, and we can see if Lansing is willing to echo that request. Lansing delegation, are you people on board with Councilmember Waters' request?
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding the request. The request is to look at legislation to crack down on landlords or what LLCs that are basically doing sham LLCs.
Yeah, when they purchase properties in bondos.
Microphone. Microphone.
Real Token purchased about 400 properties, all right? They had people living in deplorable conditions. But it was so hard for the city and the assessor's office to find them because of all of these different LLCs. The Board of Review can tell you the problems that they have with those LLCs. All I'm asking Lansing to do is to say if you purchase X number of properties, can be 5 or 10 properties could trigger the law. If you do that, we need to know who you are. You have to reveal your identity. You can no longer hide behind the LLCs.
So very quickly, Professor Atuohene, thank you for the work that you've been doing. I have already had this conversation with Alvin Horn, and I stumbled across an LLC when I was just looking up an address and saw that they had 100% PRE. I sent an email to him and said, this should not be allowed, that not one LLC that has 100% PRE should be exempt from paying the school, the additional school millage that they would be required to pay. So I'm going to share the email that came back from him, because he said he then gave that charge to his entire team to make sure that an LLC does not have that. So I will ask for a specific report. Okay, and we can go through that, because an LLC is not an individual. I said to him, if there is an individual that solely owns an LLC and occupies this property, they need to prove it, that they cannot just request 100% PRE and then be exempt from the school millage, the school debt millage.
So I think the state reps want to okay.
I'll go with the.
Yeah, you know, well, I do want to be straightforward and not overpromise. So I want to say I'm committed to working in Lansing to get at what I know we want to get at. I'm kind of going through different bodies of case law in my head, and some of it is bad in terms of how the Supreme Court treats corporations. It just is. You know, I don't think corporations are people. I don't think they should have free speech, and I think they should have fewer rights. So I think we need to work on it. It might not land exactly that way, but it's more than one way to skin a cat. So I'm committed to working on it, you know, and making sure we do it in a way that won't get slapped down by the courts. But I think it's ways to get there, but I think we need to chew on it and think about how to get there.
Wants to echo in? Or, okay, Senator Chang, then Rep. Paez.
I'll just really quickly add that I would love to partner up with Rep. Myers-Phillips on looking into this. I mean, maybe there are some things that could be interim steps. One of them might be just greater transparency around LLCs or public reporting around certain things, so that way, you know, it can be easier to find out some of this information and then go after them. But let's definitely follow up.
Thank you. I can tell you that I met with Airbnb about 2 weeks ago. Because this has been a real interest of mine. Last term, I worked somewhat with our representative, Joey Andrews, who had a whole package regarding short-term rentals and things like this. So I know how short-term rentals can really damage our public schools. We get a lot of turnover. You don't know who's living down the street from you or if they're supposed to be there. It really cuts down on the economy. However, I'm also a really big fan of municipal autonomy. And I think that a lot of this could be helped somewhat by cities tweaking their ordinances.
So we're going to a little bit briefly off the topic. So the topic's more about the LLCs being utilized as landlords. So we want to stick to that topic.
All right. I think I can work with Rep. Myers-Phillips.
Okay, so we have a commitment here from the House delegation to work with the Congress. And the recorders is the recording? I see the red dot. Okay, it's on. Okay, next question, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Miss D. I'm with the 4820711 Grassroots Detroiters. Our city is about to go through a transition like we have never seen in history in Detroit. This administration is going to be tasked with a mountain of things. My question that I don't see many people asking or answering or addressing is, what are you going to do about gentrification? Because old Detroit is being punished for staying. They just want us to leave. They taxing us out. We got crazy water bills. We suffering in city services. We can't purchase the land, but somebody on their computer in China can buy a whole block. This is gentrification at its finest. I want to set an example here in the city of Detroit. I want to be the model. I want to stop the gentrification right here in the city of Detroit, and I'm tasking this next administration, whoever it may be, to get on board with the citizens. I'm not shutting out new Detroit, but you got to listen to old Detroit too. We have been here through the fires, through the overtaxation, through the lack of city services, and everything else, bankruptcy, you name it. We have stuck it out. We have been loyal to the city, and it's time when the city is rising for the people that have stuck it out and been loyal to you, for you to be loyal to us.
Okay,
what are you going to do about gentrification?
So I think she said something that speaks on behalf of every single Eastside resident, and this is something that we need to unpack. I'm going to ask her to just pull up a seat because we're gonna get all these questions answered.
I
okay?
want to stand for this.
Okay,
Thank
let's get started. Where do you guys want to start at? Congressman, yeah.
Well, thank you. And that is the reality. Look, our city is made for 1.8 million people. You know what our population today is?
600,000.
600,000. Just in last 10 years, we lost 100,000 out of the 700,000 people left our city.
They were pushed out.
And by leaving our city, what they're telling us that our taxes are too high. We don't have good education for our children. What they're telling us is that the crime in our city is something they want to move away from. And so we need to fix all of those issues. As we put so much more money into downtown, making downtown unaffordable for people, the people have been pushed out. Black people especially have been pushed out. This is gentrification that we have seen. What we need to do is encourage, we need to have more housing in Detroit. I'm proposing 100,000 new housing, low-income housing in the city of Detroit, and bring people in.
Listen very carefully. What I'm going to ask each of the panelists to do, so she's asked a very direct question, okay? We see gentrification happening on several different levels, whether it's raising taxes and trying to tax us out of our environment, whether people coming and buying a property that we can't even purchase. So I just want to hear one single statement of what are you willing to do today to put this thing into reverse, not just to stop it, to put it in reverse.
Can I talk now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. On October 24th, I'm doing a faith-based and nonprofit housing event. It's going to be at Wayne County Community College, because I realize that that is an issue, and we've got to talk about how we build rapid housing. The other piece of that is that Member Johnson and I are going to work on to redirect the funds, some of those funds from the 108 loans from the federal government, to help renovate some of those 700 occupied homes of the land bank. So if we can get some of those homes, using some of those dollars, renovated, and give people an opportunity to own those homes instead of kicking them out, then that's going to be a major win for us. The other thing that's happening, wait a minute, I gotta say this.
We want everyone, very briefly,
yeah.
we want everyone to have a chance.
I'm telling you, a lot of it goes back to HUD and those vouchers. The reason we are losing population too, they're telling people they can't use their vouchers in the city, a lot of them.
Okay.
You've got to take it to Macomb and Oakland County.
So wait, very clearly, I just want to be clear what you said. Are you saying that you're going to take federal dollars and use them to refurbish land bank homes, and then what's the next step? Do we give those homes for free to residents, or they got to pay for it?
Well, they have to pay for it because the
108
loans have to be repaid.
Right, but what I'm saying, at that point, what happens is whoever has the biggest pocketbook can buy the house, right? So we're still in the same position.
No, the idea is to keep the people that are in those homes if they want to become a homeowner.
Let me add too, because this was our conversation on Thursday. There was a proposal, Member Waters, myself, Member Callaway, Member Santiago Romero proposed to the administration to utilize public dollars to provide support to nonprofit organizations in the city to help support rehabilitating houses for the nonprofit to work with residents in the community to house them. So I am asking anyone who wants to develop in the city of Detroit to connect with this young lady so we can come together. I can usher you through the process. I need us to stand up and say, this is what I'd like to do. Okay?
Yeah. I have two things, if it's okay. So
yeah,
one thing.
Very briefly, two responses, but keep it under 20 seconds. I'm sorry.
Yep. So in the past, we've introduced legislation in both chambers related to changing state law to give local governments back the ability to enact ordinances related to the regulation of rent. Right now, for decades, since Engler was governor, cities have not been able to enact policies related to that. And that would be a game changer if we could do that. The second thing is that we have introduced legislation several times, and I'm pushing hard to try to get it done this time, to freeze the property taxes for seniors who have been in their homes for over a certain amount of time, really to get at what you're talking about, folks who have been there, who have seen everything, who deserve to stay in their homes. And so right now we're doing some math and trying to tweak the bill to be able to move it forward.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next question.
Wonderful, thank you.
One thing I want to say, I got a plan. I got a plan. All these houses the land bank has that they're tearing down that are still in good shape, make them available to resident Detroiters first. Make the land available to the resident Detroiters first. Make these businesses and corporations that want to come profit in our communities give back to our communities. Thank you very much.
And that's the goal. That is the goal.
Find out what the stock is on that plan to let residents that own the lots build. Find out what the stock is. Fix that. Then you got a way to solve the problem as well.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tonya Gladney. I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name is Tonya Gladney. I am
That's the way it works.
a write-in candidate for District 3, which covers 48212, 48205, 48221, 48234, 48203. I come to you guys today, my question for City Council and the Mayor. Why have you all allowed for years, and especially then within the last 2 years, land bank to monopolize our land to the particular point where land bank was created to clear titles? That was their original functions.
That's right.
Clear titles, sell the property, and put it back to use.
Yeah.
They have not done that. I'm speaking from personal use and experience. They have taken taken land, up the lots $200 to $300, $400, $500, and not have allowed the community to purchase those lots. Why have you all allowed that? Why have you and the mayor allowed land bank to continue on without being dissolved? Too many people have came before land bank, including myself, Ms. Johnson, and spoke to you about the outrage that we have had with land bank. People want land bank dissolved. Dissolved. Hold on. My second question is, that was my first question.
You get only
Why
one
have they allowed?
Only one question.
Okay.
Only one question.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. This last budget cycle, we eliminated the subsidies that the land bank was getting. See, they've got over $100 million from us, and they've given back nothing. They have a fat little war chest themselves. That's number one. Now, do you all know that we do not own the land in the city anymore? Do you all know that the city council back in 2014 voted to put all of that stuff, give all of that land to the land bank? That is exactly what happened. So in order for us to get some of it back, then what we've got to do, we have an agreement between city council and the mayor and, unfortunately, the land bank, so we can get some of those properties back. I've been mainly focused on the dwellings because people need some place to live. But that's a struggle that we have. When I found out that we had really relinquished all of our land like that to them, we made them so powerful. The most powerful place, municipality, a separate authority in this state. And for God's sake, the state of Michigan said they can't even understand why we would do such a stupid thing.
Okay.
Next question. So
now, ma'am, I have this. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Excuse me. We have only one question.
I have it. Thank you.
You asked your question. People are waiting behind you. You have to get
Okay.
Thank you.
you doing? My name is Minya Irby, and I live in District 4. And my question is following the line of everybody else. I got a couple of rapid fire. One, the nuisance abatement program. I don't understand why we want to get rid of it as a whole. Why don't we want to amend it? Truth be told, some 70% of the residences in the city of Detroit are owned by real estate investors, according to Data Driven Detroit, that is, right? So if 70% of the property is owned by real estate investors that may or may not live in this city, that may or may not live in this state, that may or may not live in this country, right? That part. Why don't we just amend it? Because I'm going to be honest with you. Last year, I got evicted from my house. And don't nobody know that here. But the reason that I got evicted is because my landlord tried to go up on my rent by $200. Yes, from $700 to $900. But my roof was leaking. I had tubs and buckets in my kitchen. Remember, Michelle? My house was leaking through the roof. I know, Tony, I'm coming, baby. I'm about to wrap it up.
Please do.
Listen, at the end of the day, that landlord that evicted me, because I was able to prove that I had paid my rent, they claimed for possession. But that house now is sitting there, a nuisance. They haven't secured it. It's still collecting damage. The windows are gonna be broken. The grass is overgrown in the front and the back. So,
Can you restate your question one more time? So
my question is, why do you want to eliminate the nuisance abatement program altogether as opposed to amending it so that we protect the citizens of Detroit that are homeowners, but we penalize the investors in the city of Detroit or the LLCs?
All right, so first of all, let me make this crystal clear. We are not saying eliminate it. I am saying to place it back with the city under BC. Because when I have individual homeowners come to me saying that the land bank took their properties, I'm talking about residents in this city, yeah, that bothers me a great deal. So all I'm suggesting, all I want to do is to pull that responsibility from the Detroit Land Bank and put it back into BC, our Building and Safety Department. That's all I'm saying. I want them not to have that power, not the land bank. We're making them too powerful, and that needs to be gone.
Okay.
See, that's clarification that I didn't know. So because the law department can currently seize a property, they can file a lawsuit against a property in the city of Detroit today. So thank you for that clarification, Member Ward.
You're welcome, Member Johnson.
Oh God, I can't take it.
So I just wanted to try and recap some notes that I have here. So Professor Attenue had mentioned about the LLCs, and I believe we said that the council members, along with the state reps and state senator, are going to come together to create some type of a way forward, either through legislation, at the state or city level, somehow to try and close that gap. And we're asking to have that done. So when we have the next summit in the spring, we want to have a report on progress in that area. After that, the issue of gentrification came up about residents having first crack at land banks rather than people from outside. I didn't get a clear up or down on that one. Are we in support of that, or are we?
Yes, we are in support of it.
Okay.
So I brought up the sales policy that the land bank currently has in place that says that Detroiters should be first in line to purchase their properties. The challenge is the land bank interprets that to be any entity that is Detroit-based. So anybody can set up a Detroit LLC.
Okay,
so an amendment to their sales policy is what needs to take place.
And can that happen within the next 6 months?
So that would happen with their board. We can push for that to be included in the MOU. So that'll happen before the end of the year.
Okay.
All right, Member Johnson, get that in there. MOU.
Yeah, this is directed to.
No, go ahead.
Okay. It's directed to the two state reps and the state senator who are present. You recently passed.
Not you. You continue.
Okay. You recently passed a budget, and it involved a 24% additional tax on marijuana. And I'm asking, one, are you concerned that this might kill the goose that lays the golden egg, in the sense that if you put out a business, the very businesses you're taxing, a higher tax will not raise more revenue, and any further support or opposite? How you voted.
So I'm sorry. This is a tax issue. We're going to come to that in the next one. Okay. The next topic is on taxation. So we're going to have one more question. We'll come back to your question and taxation topic. Okay.
Okay, they'll come back to the same question.
Never mind. Go ahead and answer it. Now we'll go into tax.
Okay,
right now.
yeah, so that's one. Number two is since...
One question. Let them answer the question, yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, ask again?
No. They got the question? Go ahead and answer it.
I have an answer. I voted yes for it, and I felt immediately bad about it. Sometimes we make choices that are really difficult. At the moment that I voted for the 24% tax, we were given, because of the way the legislation was written, we were given, it was put so it was the tax or the roads. And so I had questioned actually the same thing that your concerns are, that this might drive, the tax might drive businesses into difficulties, that, like that. Hopefully not getting marijuana back into the black market. So I've been really feeling apologetic about that. However, apologies don't take care of the vote. And it passed. I think some of us thought that it would change in the Senate once they got the bill, and perhaps they'd work on that. That didn't happen. I suspect there might be a lawsuit to change that percentage, if I'm correct. We've all been hearing something like that. Yeah, and I think when we did the budget, which we passed everything about 4 a.m. yesterday, we have to work with the other side of the aisle also. And so the roads was really something that drove everyone's vote on this, I believe, from both sides of the aisle. I didn't hear from constituents about concerns until later, just because that's how my office works. So your concerns are correct. I'm going to find some way I can work with people about how to deal with that. And again, I think there's a lawsuit that's, if it hasn't been filed yet, it's more than likely will. Thank you.
So I have a couple things to say. I share the concerns. For a long time this week, I was advocating hard to lower the wholesale tax from the percentage that it was in the House down and tie bar it to a vape tax bill. The vape tax bill is actually hugely popular and would help combat youth addiction. Yes. I talked to the governor directly about it. I talked to my majority leader about it. I talked to Republicans about it. The fact of the matter is, that change was not allowed, and it would not have had support from House Republicans. And Speaker of the House, Matt Hall, literally threatened a shutdown and a renegotiation of everything if we did not vote to pass the bill. And so it was a result of a terrible process. And so I want to be clear that if it had been a standalone bill, I would have absolutely voted no. But because of the combination and the circumstances that we were put in by the Speaker to delay even negotiating a budget until September, it was a terrible situation. I am really hopeful that we can make changes, and I've had conversations with some of my colleagues about finding ways to address many of the concerns that exist.
I'm going to throw something in real quick, though. Our Speaker of the House is like Trump 1.5, and that's how he operates. Even his own members have very deep problems with him. That's how he's going about ruling, threatening to shut the government down, and threatening our senators. Thank you. That's what we have to work with.
Congressman, we're going to give you the last word. We have one last question.
Yeah, I got to get going, but I wanted to just thank all of you for being here and participating in it. And I've been here since 1 o'clock, but I got to get going. I'm going to continue to fight in the United States Congress to ensure that we get our health care we're not going to cave in. We Democrats are not going to cave in with this administration, and we'll continue to fight. Thank you all. Have a good, happy Halloween. Be safe. Thank you so much.
Congressman, before you leave, a couple of things. One, we just want to follow up. Just have a seat just for a moment, please. Sorry about that. Follow-ups. So you mentioned about a zero-interest business loan that you want to advocate for residents. You also indicated an interest in letting those loans be repaid through the tax dollars generated by those small businesses as well. And also number 3, you mentioned that you are in support of an economic recovery program for the Eastside of Detroit that's going to incorporate business financial institutions that are mission aligned, individuals with financial expertise, and members of the community, and also your staff as well. We want to follow up with you within the next 1 month.
The best way to get hold of me is tanadar.house.gov. Reach out to us.
We have your contact information, but I'm telling you what we're expecting in the next 6 months before the next session. We're expecting you to live up to those promises, to fulfill your obligations.
Absolutely.
Fulfill your obligations?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And also you can reach out to me personally on my personal email, shrithanadar@gmail.com.
Okay.
So, and I always respond. Thank you so much.
And thank you again for attending, Congressman, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question here.
Oh, could I respond to that question
no,
as well?
I'm going to have to leave too, but I'm going to wait for the last question.
Yeah. Last question.
So if I can respond to the gentleman's question as well on the budget vote. I mean, it was a tough vote. I'm not really a fan of overtaxing one industry over others, and it doesn't really have a rational connection to the roads, but my ultimate vote, and I voted yes on it, my whole strategy going in, especially with the big beautiful bill cuts, was kind of
big
all
nasty
of that in the background. My lens in which I cast my vote was how much can we get for our most vulnerable community members? Like, we have to protect Medicaid, we have to protect those essential services, we have to get the kids in the schools right, and the free lunches and everything. So that's the lens I was looking at it with my final vote. And one piece of information that I won't say is right, but as I understand, and I could be wrong, but this additional tax will kind of put Michigan kind of in the middle road nationally. So it's not the highest state for that tax, it's not the lowest state. Are they going to sue? I imagine probably. If you're in that industry, you're going to do what you can to protect your investment. Things that I've been hearing, totally agreeing and supporting the effort that Senator Chang put forward. The vote count just wasn't there at the time. That doesn't mean it can't come up at another time, but it wasn't there at that time. So looking at continuing to support Senator Chang's efforts, there's also been conversation behind the scenes about kind of loosening up the regulatory framework, like giving something else on the back end to those industries to lower costs. So I don't think that's a done deal by any means, and I'm committed to continuing to look at it, but we have to take the budget vote in this year, unfortunately. Many moons ago, probably when Councilwoman was serving, you had a real committee process, and you didn't have everything kind of at you at one time. So at that time, kind of weighing the pros and the cons of, preserving those essential services, bringing some more dollars home to Detroit, and living to fight another day and not shutting down the government on that one issue, I felt comfortable. And I would say I'm not against government shutdowns if it's for the right issue, but kind of weighing the pros and the cons of everything. I feel like there's still things that we could do to work with that industry to lighten it up a little bit, but at that time we had to vote the whole thing up or the whole thing down, and we worked really hard to get a lot of good things in there for Detroit, for Michiganders. And again, top of mind for me was making sure our most vulnerable were taken care of. And just starting from where we were, it was the most awful thing. It was just awful and terrible. And working it up from where it was to where it landed, you know, I thought it was a good to vote yes at that time. But you know what? You know, since it was so late, the statutory deadline was July 1st. So it's basically like we'll take a breath and we're back in budget again. You know, there's you know, other things I think that we could look at, you know, to make those industries a little more whole.
So we have a few questions remaining about education and one question about taxation as well. We want to give one last question from the audience before we wrap it up here. With these last two questions from the audience, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is William M. Davis. My question is this. Why should any City of Detroit retiree vote for any of y'all if nothing's being done to help the thousands of City of Detroit retirees, not just in the City of Detroit, but all over the state of Michigan, but especially in the City of Detroit? Because, you know, we have suffered more. We had a pension cut, 4.5. We had a retroactive cost of living, took it back to 2013, even though it was 2014 when it happened. And we had an annuity clawback at 15.5%. You know, so we have suffered. All of y'all have gotten raises. We haven't. We living on less than what we was making before 2013. So why should any City of Detroit retiree vote for any of y'all? That's my question. I'm not just do anything else.
So real quick, House of Representatives, we haven't had a raise in I think 23 years or something like that. And neither has the Senate, more people, same amount of money. But we just passed legislation literally in our budget so that there's no more tax on our Social Security. So that should help seniors somewhat. Oh, good grief. I can't think of the other thing now. Or do you want to chime in on this?
We also we finally, after many years, were successful at repealing the retirement tax last term, which we've been talking about for a decade. So, but certainly there's more things that we can do, but those are a start for sure.
Yeah, the retirement tax was the Republicans, maybe I forget how many terms ago, during Snyder, I believe, had implemented a tax on people's pensions and retirement funds. So 2 years ago, correct, 2 years ago we were able to pass legislation repealing that. However, it's taking place over the course of 4 years, so not everybody has it yet. Probably in another 2 years or so, everybody should be on stage with not having their retirement
Taxed.
Taxed, yes.
So the one topic we haven't gotten to yet is education. So just recently, the Head Start program has been canceled from the federal budget cuts, and education dollars have been pushed to the states, and now that money is open not just for the public schools, but for charter schools and parochial schools as well. So the question is, what is Lansing doing? What is the city doing to share up that particular area? Early childhood education is perhaps the one and only true and tried process for improving reading skills for the already suffering Detroit public school system. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little small adjustment to the schedule. We're going to end the session. This session is the last session at 5 o'clock. So this question on education is going to be the last topic for today. Yeah.
I do know that we have a program, the city has a program called, I can't think of it quite, it's Gold something, where, Gold Line, thank you so much. I couldn't remember the line part. But that is our way of making sure that we continue to help educate our children early on. There isn't a whole lot that we can do other than become partners with the Detroit Public School District. You know, those partnerships, because we want good schools in the city of Detroit, and so we need to do all that we can to work together.
So I'm trying to remember if there's anything specifically about Head Start that we did this week, but nothing's coming to my mind directly. But I will say about education broadly, as far as the budget that we passed this week, it did include the highest ever per pupil funding. We continued the free schools meals program, which, by the way, the Republicans wanted to get rid of. We also increased support. We not only maintained, but actually increased support for at-risk, so that includes Detroit, as well as English language learners and special ed. And so those were huge wins. Honestly, I was blown away by the fact that they were able to negotiate that. And then in terms of literacy, which is something that has been getting a lot of attention lately because we are not doing as well as we should, we did also include additional funding for literacy supports. Last term, the Michigan legislature passed legislation around dyslexia to mandate screening early on every year for young children so that we can make sure that kids get the kind of support that they need in the early intervention on reading. So those are a couple things from the top of my head. I think that.
Senator Chang covered a lot. That was really contentious. So I'm proud of the wins that we were able to kind of claw back because the House Republicans, who are the problem, honestly, for our community, the budget that they passed earlier this year just really eliminated a lot of the things that we have come to rely on in our community. So getting the per pupil funding up. I know my teachers in here, education professionals, you have your general money, and then you have categoricals with all the other things that make education equitable. So we were able to get like nearly most of those back in there, which was huge. I believe we got raises for bumped up with the teachers. We know we're going to have to get our Detroit breakdown for everybody, you know, where the dollars went. So I'm recognizing that would be really helpful. We just haven't literally even had any sleep to be able to digest it, but I would like to add that into the mix to be able to bring back, you know, where's the money and the programmatic wins for the city of Detroit. We're already working on it. I just want to say it's not complete, but this year had a great investment in education, and it was hard fought from dealing with the people that we're dealing with in the state and at the national level, so I'm proud of that.
We have a question from the audience.
One question on education.
Okay, really quickly, thank you all for being here. I'll try to go quickly, but I'm very passionate about education. I'm an educator. I run Epiphany Education Center. Epiphany Education Center. We're located in the Samaritan Center on Warren and Connor. We provide free literacy programs for our children in this city. Free literacy programs. Children should not have to hit the teacher lottery to learn to read. Our children are not learning to read in this city. Dr. Vitti cannot get over 15% proficient in any subject, in any grade. It's time for him to go. Dr. Vitti has to go, or changes need to be made across the board, okay? We cannot hit proficiency with him. We have the answers at Epiphany. You wanna know the answers to our education issues? Number one, bring back our libraries right now. You said it, bring back the libraries. Number two, bring back the truancy officers. We need the Dr. Vitti keeps saying truancy is the issue. It's been an issue since he's been here. That's not the issue. Number one issue, the curriculum. Bring the science of reading to Detroit. Research-based science of reading. Effective structured learning. How is it that we run a tutoring program and we can increase proficiency within 60 hours and they can't do it in years? Explain this to me. It's gonna take 30 years under Dr. Vitti to get over 20% proficient in this city. We need a change. Everything y'all was talking about cannot move, none of it without education. It all stops here. We are not preparing our children. We are not, and I don't care what they say at the top. I live it, I see it every day. We teach children how to read. You want the answers? We got it. We've been celebrating, this year marks 20 years of us being in this city teaching children how to read. We don't need money. We need leaders that can make the change. We We ready. We've been here. Let's go. If you ready to teach our babies how to read, I'm here. I'm ready. We've been doing it.
So
I want to know how we support Epiphany for them to grow, for them to be able to work with more of our students.
do you want to explain where you're getting it? Did you get more funding from the city of Detroit? How did you get your funding?
So I'm a grant writer. I have not applied to any of these other grant. We go to privately funded organizations that believe in books. The Waldorf schools in Silicon Valley that are teaching the highest, most proficient children in the United States, they're not using technology. In K through 8th grade, the Waldorf schools have 0 computers, 0 technology. You know what they have? Pen and paper. Pen and paper. Silicon Valley has 0 computers in their K through 8th grade schools. You want the answer? You want the answer? It's in Ohio. It's in Ohio, Steubenville, Ohio. The superintendent is Steubenville, Ohio has been able to produce almost every single 4th and 5th grader are proficient. And this town, we can't seem to make none of our kids proficient. Steubenville, Ohio is doing it. There are places that are doing it. We have the answers, but nobody wants the answers. I saw Dr. Vitti in the grocery store, not in Detroit, but in the suburbs. I went right to him and said, this is the problem, curriculum. You know what he told me? Absenteeism is the problem. He put it back on the families. The school district operates from a middle class standard. It's our responsibility to bring people up in poverty. We set the standard.
So I just want to encourage you to apply for CDBG, for Community Development Block Grant Funding, so you can duplicate yourself and provide support to more students in the city of Detroit. Okay? And the application process is open now. No, you can stay on the east side at the Samaritan Center. We're good. 5555 Connor, if anybody wants to know where to go. Thank you.
If I can respond real quick to your question. So I believe we passed some funding for literacy. I don't recall the details for it. Either we worked on or we passed some legislation regarding smaller classrooms. Unfortunately, I don't know how that's going to go. You see my age right here. I can tell you when I was in 3rd grade, we left one school. I wrote a letter to my 3rd grade teacher who wrote me back, and she said she still had 38 kids to the classroom. So this is 6 years ago, and so you kind of know where this is at. It's going to be really difficult. I can also tell you that Representative Carol Glanville out of Grand Rapids is trying to get legislation passed that would require a school librarian in every school. We'll see how that goes.
Yes.
But we're trying to work on things out there. Hearing from you is really important, and hearing success stories like yours is also important. Thank you.
So I want to kind of jump in here one thing, and I guess one of the biggest questions when it comes to education is the Republican Party is committed to defunding public education. Now, if we're going to have to get block grants for non-public education to come and fix the non-public education system, how does that possibly solve our solution? How is that a solution to the problem? I'm sorry?
No one from the school board is here?
Well, the state is here. They're the ones that fund the school board, right? So right now, the Republicans are trying to defund public education. That was the whole thing, the whole push in D.C. and a Xerox copy here in Lansing. So we're not able to demonstrate that our public school system is functioning, and as she's demonstrating right here, you have models all over the state of privately funding parochial schools and charter schools. The future of our public education is hanging by a thread.
If I can, real quick. So a good part of the problem is teacher retention. We had a bill, the governor passed several bills, and the Republicans wouldn't give them to her to sign, and one of them would have helped out teachers with their health insurance. Right now, I think they now have to pay probably an additional $7,000 a year for the health insurance. So when you're looking at the benefits that you give people, that's a lot for retention. That's a lot if you've got good teachers, teachers who in good faith have love for education. So I think a lot of the problem is retention, but it's because of legislation that we have that won't get passed or that gets stalled. And so we need support, we need to hear advocacy, which we do, but I think that's part of the problem, part of the solution.
What kind of support do you need?
Yeah, I always say that numbers matter. When I get phone calls or emails, my staff every month, we go over and see how many we got. Doesn't matter if you think, oh, I'm not going to contact her because she's on the same page I am, or I'm not going to contact him because he's not going to pay attention to me anyway. Just go ahead and do it anyway, because at the end of the month, we go and tally who's interested in what, how many people are interested in what, and at the end of the day, we can take that to prove or to back up legislation that we're interested in. I can say, listen, I've got 150 people out here who are interested in this particular subject. That helps. It may seem futile, sometimes it seems futile to me, but we got it there. We can take it to the people that we need to work with and make our case.
Okay, I think we have 2 more questions from the audience. We didn't get a clear understanding about the Head Start. Is Head Start funded by the state now? Is the state providing funding for Head Start? No, I'm sorry. Can the state provide a gap funding, I'm asking? Because of the federal... Can the state of Michigan provide funding to Focus Hope to continue the program of early childhood education?
We need to look into this. I know that Focus Hope did get some money in the budget, but I don't remember how much, and I don't remember if it was specifically for this or something else. As far as so we'll have to get back to you because I cannot remember off the top of my head if there was something that besides the money for Focus Hope.
Yeah, that's real tough right now because our president just, bam, ended everything. We're working on the budget. It's kind of late in the season to go and tweak. But I think something that was there, we're trying to find a way to backfill some education things.
Okay, there are last 2 questions from the audience. Sorry. Okay, we have 2 more questions from the audience, and then there was one request. I think Rep. Phillips, you had made a statement about the contact information for any type of support from the MEDGC or whatever.
So I'll fold that in as well. So I mean, we work with the school aid budget, and we can put that in our follow-up packet as well. But some of the things that the state is funding, I'm kind of looking at. We do just a flat per pupil allowance. We have it's so tiny on my phone. Some of the things we have at-risk student funding. We have local programs.
No, I think it was for the MEDGC. There was a contact information you wanted to share if businesses needed support from.
Yeah, I was trying to answer 2 questions at once.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll go ahead and do the MEDC number. So I'll give you 2 numbers. One is just a general number, and then I'm going to give you my number. So the general number they have on their website is 1-888-522-0103. And then I'll give you my number because the way a lot of the representatives work, we have liaisons that kind of work with us. So I'm not going to vouch for that 888 number or how long you have to hold or anything, but if you're having any trouble getting through, call me, okay? And my number is 517-373-2276. And I'll follow up and share it with you all so you can share it with everybody that's registered just in case someone didn't get it down or you lose it. Okay. Did you want me to answer more about the education? Or
Yeah, you can go ahead on that, yeah.
Okay, so some of the other categories that we do support are mental health and school safety. We have early literacy in education time, bilingual education, special education, FIRST robotics, So there are a number of very specific things that we support. So it's not Head Start as in the federal program, but there are other ways that we do support early childhood development.
Okay, we're gonna have just two more questions that are hands up. If we can just find one over here, and then we got two over there, and then we're gonna end it at this last one, the lady with Miss Angela in the red. Go ahead, please. Yeah. Can.
I have two concerns, and I would like to be addressed to the state, and one as a former educator and an exec board member of Detroit Federation of Teachers. Okay, I'm a lady. Okay, I will stand up. I said as a former educator and a former exec board member of Detroit Federation of Teachers, I have a dire concern. I had a stroke, so I'll speak a little slower. My concern is that at the state level, they took in cursive writing out. Okay, and my thing is, nobody signs with an X anymore. Okay, so it's like we're going backwards. And I know it came from the state, but our city council and the Board of Education, which my goddaughter is the president, but I am ashamed. I'm really ashamed that our children will be in school and do not know how to in cursive write. They can't write their name. So how can they vote? Okay, one of the problems in Detroit is voting. And if they cannot sign their name, they cannot vote. So we're going backwards. So that was one of my main concerns. My other concern I addressed a couple of months ago when I was here in the meeting, as a former landlord, well, I still have one more property. I had several properties in Detroit. They overtaxed us. They owe me $22,000 in overtax. They need to pay us. They need to pay every owner in this city their money. Everybody, they work, they get paid. We need our money.
Thank you.
That's my concern.
Okay.
Especially first education. I get my money later, but first education.
Right on.
Because we got lawyers. They say Detroit is illiterate. Okay, we got judges, we got lawyers, and the best in the city of Detroit. So why can't our kids learn how to write?
One question. We're gonna close it. We're gonna close in just a second. You guys can talk amongst each other, and it's about 5 more minutes. We're gonna have just 2 more questions here.
Oh, could I provide an answer or just feedback to that? I did want to make folks aware, Representative Brenda Carter, she's an amazing rep out of Pontiac. She has introduced that legislation. It hasn't received a vote yet, but it has been referred to committee. But it is on people's minds. Rep. Carter introduced it, and she's amazing, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Everybody good? Still hanging in? I am LaTanya Foster. I am from...
Hello.
Hello. Okay. So my name is LaTanya Foster. I'm from the beautiful Riverbend community in District 4. We are served by the wonderful Councilwoman Letitia Johnson, and I am here. Yes, give her a roll of applause. Yes, absolutely. So what I'm here for is, and I wish more people were there because I need help. I've been trying, and other people, Gwendolyn Peoples and Jeff Chalmers' neighborhood, we've been trying to get our library opened back up. We are really trying to preserve this library. It is historic, it is beautiful, it is historically relevant in our neighborhood. We don't want to lose it, but I've been getting resistance and pushback and ignored. And even though Councilwoman acquired $2 million, I think it was, $2 million towards the head start of renovating this building, which they said would be done in 4, I think it was, or they were supposed to start, but it's been pushed back like 2 or 3 times. And I was just wondering, is there anything that you guys can do to help encourage the library commission to make a decision, make a move, and put our library back in, because we need it. It's missing in our community. We don't have a space to gather or anything like that.
I did hear the question. Thank you for your advocacy for the Monteith branch reopening. I did have a conversation with a library commissioner and asked him, because I understand when you all attended their most recent meeting, they really didn't respond to any public comment on how they were going to move forward. There has been some discussion about reopening Monteith versus identifying another location for a library. I had asked for them to do community engagement, for the community to help decide what that looked like and what the next steps would be. So he indicated that at their next meeting, he's going to push to have the conversation. I've already indicated that my team will be there to make sure that we know how they want to move forward, and then we get to decide what happens with that $2 million, if it stays with the library or if it comes back to the city to be reallocated.
So House Rep Phillips wants to, I'm sorry.
I wanted to add something to that real quick.
Okay, very quickly.
Okay. I think right now, well, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. So I think there's one thing going on right now that the city owes the libraries about $400,000, I think. That's still, about something that happened with an employee a while ago. But the bigger thing here is the tax captures. So the way things are set up right now is, I believe the library funding that everybody's voted for is actually tax captured by the Downtown Development Authority, if I recall correctly. But I think it's a matter of working on taxes here and actually getting the funding back for it that was initially, everything was set up so that they would. So right now, the city is taking those monies for something different. Senator Sylvia Santana had been working on tax captured laws a couple of terms ago, and last term, I'm not sure what the status is with her, but we've talked about joining together and doing something about the tax captures.
Rep Phillips wants to make some announcements about the state budget. So we're going to give her the floor just to give updates, and then we'll wrap up.
Yes, we're going to kind of tag team with it. So Senator Chang, our districts overlap. So my House district and her Senate district are basically the same. But I thought it was really important, and I'll have to be leaving soon as well. But the budget is so important. I wanted to at least, get a chance to share some more about it. So we'll start with Senator Chang, and Rep Paez and I can kind of fill in. But just wanted to share, what happened hot off the presses.
So I mentioned earlier some of the highlights from the school budget, but I'll say them again just because I think they honestly are really important to know. So we do have now, for the next fiscal year, the highest ever per pupil funding, $10,050 per student. We also continued the free school meals program, increased funding for at-risk students, English language learners, special ed, increased funding for literacy supports, critical investments in school safety and school mental health, as well as all of the things that Rep. Myers-Phillips mentioned earlier, increased funding to Michigan universities and community colleges. And that's important to note because the Republicans actually wanted to decrease funding to our universities and community colleges, all of them, I think all of them. We also, I think we sort of mentioned this before, but in our state budget, we were able to help really protect Medicaid, which is huge. The fact that we were able to get that done in a compromised budget this is only, of course, for the next fiscal year, so we're going to have this fight again, but it's good for 1 year. We also we did protect SNAP benefits to the degree that we could. Some of the other highlights that I wanted to share was that we secured $5 million. We teamed up on that. $5 million in the budget for water affordability. $5 million is not anywhere near enough, but you know what? It is better than zero, which is, again, what the House Republicans proposed. You're starting to see a theme here, right? They just proposed zeroing out a lot of really important things. One other thing that I thought folks might be interested in, and especially for our city folks, as a little plug, there's this really amazing program that started in Flint called RX Kids, which helps pregnant women who are low income as well as after they give birth to give them cash so that they can buy diapers and buy bottles and formula and all of the things that you need to pay for as a new mom. And so this program has been expanding around the state. So we did actually invest, I think, $100 million in this program. So, but here's a note for folks here. The city itself has to buy into the program. And under the current administration, for whatever reason, they have not been interested in it. But I hope that the next mayor and city council will invest in RX Kids. So those are a couple highlights.
Thank you so much. Other things I just wanted to report back on, there were 3 departments that I was really laser focused in on: the Secretary of State's office, the Department of Attorney General, and the Department of Civil Rights. Again, because of all the Trump land policies and just venom, those departments were targeted for significant cuts. And those are really the major departments that have an affirmative duty to look out for us and protect us, okay? So I was really thrilled that, those departments, there won't be any layoffs, any cuts, yes, because the Republicans were coming for them. So those departments are still able to do what they need to do. Water affordability was exciting, so again, glad we got that. Funding we had heard a lot about renters' rights, so that is an ongoing battle, but another $1.5 million for the right to give the right to counsel ordinance the resources it needs to protect our tenants. That was great. Road funding and community violence intervention are new pieces to the mix, but Detroit made out very good with those. So in addition to revenue sharing funds, that's kind of the pot of money the state, I don't want to use the word give because it's our taxpayer money, but that pot of money that comes back to the city of Detroit, in addition to revenue sharing, we have a new roads formula, so that will be coming into the city of Detroit. But the thing that I'm more excited about is that there's a transit component to that as well. So we'll get a little boost in being able to work with our bus systems and public transit. And then the Community Violence Intervention Fund. I mean, people have been boots on the ground fighting for that for a long time to have those police, y'all are good. I'm not talking about you there, but community partners, okay, to be able to, have those conversations that they won't have with our officers in uniform. So a lot of our boots on the ground, community-based organizations that are just talking neighbor to neighbor will be able to do more with that significantly with the Community Violence Intervention Fund. So I just want to highlight some of those. And again, I'm going to send my number out. Please call me. And one other thing, I know I'm talking a long time, but I introduced the shutoff protection bill. I'll send the information for how you can support that, utility shutoffs. So my bill would require no utility shutoffs in the wintertime for seniors and families under 16 years of age. So there's a way that you can raise your hand and say, I support this, so we can continue building those numbers in Lansing. So I'm gonna send that to the organizers as well. So click, spread, share the word, because the winter time is coming, and we don't need any more of our family members, our community members, freezing and not being able to just have heat. So that's another piece, just thinking about our most vulnerable community members that I've introduced and working on, and I'll share how you can support. And I'm sure if Rep. Paez wants to add anything else on the budget, I'm being
So
quiet.
what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and have since House Member Phillips already started, we can give closing remarks, so you can all just give your last closing remarks, and then we have one announcement after that.
It's an announcement.
No, you can go ahead first.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm glad to have been here. I have some coffee hours at the Jefferson Branch Library over on Outer Drive, if you could check with them. I sometimes have information in the East English Village paper. I'm having a town hall coming up on, I'm having a...
Quiet.
I'm having a community resource fair at that library on October 20th in the mid-afternoon. On the 27th, I'm having a healthcare town hall with Representative McKinney and also with Representative Carrie Reingans, who teaches health policy at the University of Michigan. So she'd be great to talk with about that. I believe it's 5 to 7 p.m. at the Grosse Pointe Public Library, their center branch. Just take Cadieux all the way down to Kirchville. Library is right there, October 27th. You can answer that. Contact me. I've got great staff. We'll get back to you as soon as we can about things, even if it's just to voice your opinion, yay or nay about something. And I went out to my car and brought in some tenant handbooks for tenant law, if anybody's interested in that right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all so much for staying put and being here. I just want to say thank you to the District 4 Community Advisory Council, the District 5 Community Advisory Council. Thank you all so much. I just want to very quickly share that many of you already know that District 4's boundaries are expanding. So we will add to our current 22 neighborhoods, we'll add an additional 8 neighborhoods. So we extend our boundaries on the southwest side of the district from Jefferson and St. Jean up until Fisher, the east side of Fisher. We stop right at Indian Village. So just know that if you are joining the District 4 family, we're excited to have you and looking forward to another term beginning next year. I want to encourage all of you to continue to support the office and to stay connected with the office. We have a newsletter that will be coming out in the mail to every household in the district very soon. If you are not already connected with us, there is a QR code that will be in there where you can sign up for our monthly e-blast so you can stay connected, because one of my main priorities is to make sure that the East Side is aware of the resources that we provide in the city of Detroit. I'm trying to make sure that the East Side continues to get elevated and we see resources coming to our neighborhoods. Again, thank you, and look for the newsletter that will be coming out in the mail. Thank you all so much.
Yes, this has been great. I look forward to just staying in touch and continuing to work with the community to build power. And I guess in terms of last things, I heard someone, I think you asked, what can we do or what help do you need? Lobby days are good. Lobby days are good. So if you're interested in coming to Lansing and visiting not just our offices, but other legislators in the House and the Senate, and that FaceTime, the FaceTime, it does matter. It really does. The calls, the emails, but the FaceTime also makes a difference. So if that's something...
Can you speak more about Lobby Day? What is Lobby Day?
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. So some organizations get together and they decide on this day, we are coming to Lansing and we're going to knock on the legislators' doors. We have our information packet of what we're looking for and ask you to make a commitment or where you're at. But they happen all the time. Sometimes even if you don't have an appointment, every day it's probably at least 10 stacks of information under the door before I even get in the office. So it is a powerful tool, and I love to see more people in this community join the lobby days. Some Detroit organizations come up. I could share those groups too, but you don't need to be in an organization per se. Maybe if this group wants to do one or you just want to come on your own, myself, Rep. Paez, Senator Chang, we can help kind of plan how to do that, and make the most of your time and be able to get some face time with additional reps, if that's part of the larger organizing strategy. But I just want to share that as you go back and debrief and think about how we continue to move these things forward.
Thank you all so much for organizing this, for being here, for raising your concerns, and for your passion. We love it, and it is so important to hear from you. A couple announcements. I have a coffee hour coming up on October 10th at noon at the Eastside Community Network, and then Rep. Myers-Phillips and I are doing a joint coffee hour on October 27th at 11 in Highland Park at their Justice Center. But all of that information is on my website, which is just senatorstephaniechang.com. Final note, I know that a lot of folks here are really passionate about education. We have been doing as much as we can to increase funding for education, but I wanted to give a plug for a group that is working hard to get signatures to actually put education funding on the ballot next year. It's called Invest in My Kids, Invest in MI Kids. So if you, hopefully folks will have seen some of them around with clipboards getting signatures, but I believe that basically what this would do is add a wealth tax. So a tax on the most wealthy. So if you make $500,000 or above, or if you're married and filing jointly, then $1 million and above, that would be an additional. It would raise your tax. I am not sure if that applies to anyone in this room. And all of that funds would actually go towards education and would raise, I believe, $1.7 billion more for education. So look out for that. Invest in my kids.
Okay, we have one announcement from the floor, and then we have a few. We're going to ask the panelists. There are about 3 or 4 questions that are lingering around in the audience. If you guys, after breaking out, you can talk to those individuals individually, and then we're going to have the closing. And we also want to ask any of the candidates that are here, either write-in candidates or candidate Renata Miller is here as well. We're going to give you a brief moment to speak after this statement here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Moore.
Sorry.
My company is the Urban Information Network. We are affiliated in Detroit as DETV. I just want to tell you, we're going to do some edits to this show, and we're going to put it on Detroit IPTV and broadcast it to the end of the month so people can see what's going on. I think we'll get a lot of people tuning in just to hear people tell Letitia Johnson, your minute is up. Okay, but listen, I don't know if you guys know, but it's a war going on in the media business. It's not just Donald Trump trying to shut things down, but these corporations, the giant corporations, ABC, NBC, CBS, and really public TV, they're trying to reinvent themselves. Okay, what they're doing, because the cable companies are dying. As you know, most Detroiters don't have cable. The satellite company, even Dish Network doesn't use their satellite anymore. People are tired of using antennas, so they're renaming themselves Next Generation TV. But Next Generation TV is IPTV. And that technology we have been using for 15 years, okay? So they want to raise the prices and keep the prices high, and they want to keep control of your minds. But right now, like I said, it's an opportunity for companies like Detroit IPTV and UIN. We are the oldest continuously operating internet TV network in the nation. We have Detroit IPTV is one of 35 affiliate cities. Our goal is to return Detroit to be the mecca for the urban communities. What is a mecca? A mecca is what Detroit used to be back in the 60s and 70s. That's a place that inspires people. At that time, we had the best schools, some of the best schools in the nation. We had the highest black home ownership in the nation. People check Detroit for inspiration. Well, we're not that anymore. We have high unemployment. Instead of homeowners, we have renters and homeless people. We have to change that. Our goal is to make Detroit that mecca again. And we're going to make that happen. And we need your support here in the audience and some of the politicians, even the ones that's going to win the mayor. We need your help. We're definitely going to get there because we're growing, but we'll get there faster with your support. So what I want you guys to do now, if you have your smartphone, I want you to type in, or at least send a text to yourself. To pull out your smartphones and type in DET, that's short for Detroit, I as in island, P like Paul, TV.com. So that's DETIPTV.com. So we're going to do some edits. We're going to have this program up. So send that link to your friends and relatives, neighbors, so they can find out what's going on. Because DETIPTV.com. Okay, so according to AI, UIN is user-friendly, and the content that we have is community-based. I tell people that all the giant networks, they're like just middlemen. They're in the clouds, but we're in the community. Support your community. All right, this is Tim Moore, Lori Parks.
Can we call candidate Renata Miller and then candidate Cranstana Anderson?
Hello, everyone. How are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. My name is Renata Miller. I am the finalist for the District 5 City Council race. I came in first place out of 7 people, and I am excited. At that time, I had 7 endorsements, but right now I'm coming on in with 14 endorsements to finalize this race on November 4th, and with you, we can accomplish the goal that's set out to be. I've seen majority of you many times. You already know my story. I have a story, but you haven't heard about the movement. But you will be in the next couple of weeks because I am a homeowner. I am of 18 years in my home. I am the only taxpayer homeowner in this race. So I know what you deal with. I bring Mr. Horn because I am one of the founders of the Detroit Historic District Alliance, and we bring Mr. Horn into homes to reappraise houses. And sometimes we get on-the-spot reductions because our mayor says prices are going up, but the taxes are too. Sometimes our houses do not reflect what the inside look like appear to the outside. So guess what? We bring them in and they do a reappraisal. That's the work that I've been doing in my neighborhood, in Indian Village, and with some of the historical districts. But it does not just stop there. I am also a retiree. I raise money for people in office from the UAW for over 20-something years, and that means fair wages, insurance, pensions. That means the things that affects the working and middle class people. This is what I do. I am actually proud to say that I am also a director for the Lawn Academy, and I work with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for youth. We have to prepare our youth. Everybody's not going to college. Some youth right now, you believe it or not, they pay bills at home at 15 years old.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They're looking for jobs. So we have to equip our youth right here, right now, with after-school programs, and sometimes they need night programs and not just on the weekend. Our homeless population for youth has increased. I am taking kids home after school who do not have a home. They're actually outside living, and sometimes in Osborne High School's bathrooms. And when I'm locking up at the end of the night, they're there, they have nowhere to go. So when I was invited to the summit, I wish I could have came on time, but I had 2 events prior to this, and I'm leaving to go to another one immediately after. But I just wanted to say I am coming to bring tenacity, boldness to this District 5 because they're talking about 2 districts, 2 Detroits in 1 district. And that's the point. There's not 2 Detroits. There's not 2 Detroits in District 5. So we have to bring the disparity gap. We have to bring equity to everyone. We have to not only, one of my biggest advocacies is displacement for our seniors. Seniors is the #1 thing on my category, so I will talk to you later. I've talked to you many times. I'd like to see you at the polls, sign those absentee ballots, and remember that I have 14 endorsements, the only one that's a homeowner and a taxpayer on the ballot. Have a good day and be blessed. Take care.
So I apologize. So we have to actually close the meeting first and then let the candidates speak. So we'll close the meeting now, and the remaining candidates can have a word. I apologize about that. We're going to go to our 2 CAC presidents, District 4 and District 5, for closing remarks, and then candidates can speak after that.
Thank you so much. Those of you who have remained, showing some fortitude and commitment. And through this all, we're all going to end up in a better place than we are now. We understand that our community is in a real challenging situation, and it's better to get it out than to keep it in. But I apologize to those of you, those that are here and those that have left, for really not, in so many ways, controlling the time better, okay, and controlling the mic. But the reality is my family wants me to come home in one piece. And some of our people are when they get the mic, they don't give it up. They'll fight. So we're going to use that fight energy in order to come together as a collective to elect the best mayor possible and all other candidates. Do we all agree on that? I want to thank Toinu. I say he's like us women. He can multitask. You all notice him doing a lot of multitasking. But you know, we're all God learning. I'm still learning. Are you? Yes. So thank you all for being so tolerant and so patient with us. D4 would like to say that we've got a progressive calendar. Most of us, like myself, I'm going to become a friend of the CAC. I'm not going to run for re-election because you come to a point where you need to support, not be in front. And so the reality is, though, and I'm going to turn the mic over, we've got people in our midst who are made the commitment to be write-in candidates on the November ballot. And these most younger than me, wiser than me, got a lot of knowledge and a lot of tenacity. I want you to support them. Write them in on the ballot. So I'm asking, if you would, for those who are write-in candidates, any of you for District 4, would you please come and be acknowledged? Huh? Okay, I was just going to do, wait a minute, I was doing that for a reason. You see what just happened? Okay, excuse me, you're out of order, ma'am. Okay. So the fact is, I'm asking for District 4, then for District 5, I'm going to hand the mic over to Gregory Love. So those that are write-ins for District 4, CAC, would you all come forward so that our community can recognize you? And if you would, please don't make a long dissertation. We already closed it, didn't we? Okay, we didn't close it. I'm sorry, I got ahead of it. Anyhow, okay, I'm asking, because I know some of them, Miss Brenda Butler, Miss Minya Irving, Miss Lori Parks, would you all please come so they can recognize anybody else running for District 4 Community Advisory Council? And please make it 1 minute. Introduce yourself.
All I'm saying is my name, Brenda Faye Butler, coal miner's daughter, candidate right in for District 4, November ballot.
Beautiful. How you doing? My name is Minya Irby. I started the Jefferson Chalmers Farmers Market. I am running for the CAC as a write-in. My name is easy. It's just 5 letters. Minya, Manistee, Iroquois, Navajo, Young, Algonquin. If you can remember them 5 streets, you can write me in.
That's right, because they hard to spell. All right, y'all know this is me, Lloyd Park. Hey, dear. And I just need to tell y'all how to spell my name. It's L-O-R-Y. L-O-R-Y, and my last name is Parks. My background is what? Everybody know, activism. Making sure that our community get what we need by not only talking, but rally marching and protesting to get the things that we L-R-Y-P-A-R.
Everyone have a very, very good evening. Thank you for coming out. Well, where's she at? She's not here. We're going to keep moving. We are going to close this out. Anybody else has anything to say, please do it afterwards. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great evening.
Take it to them. Switch to this. We just take that one as a loose. Here. Here, talk with this one while we start to break it down.
Okay. No, Mike. The candidates are after the closing.
Mike, you need a mic?
Hello.
Turn this one up.
There's one last candidate for District 3 City Council.
Should be on.
Forgive me, everyone.
They're not on?
I
They're
did
not on?
have a march
Oh, we
on
on? There we
violence
go,
this
there we-
morning, and I had candidates forum over at the IBEW, so please forgive my tardiness and my absence. I am candidate Cranston Anderson, resident candidate of District 3. I am a grassroots candidate. I live in and was raised and born in Detroit's east side of Detroit.
I bought my house at 24 years old. My son is 35. I've been in my house 27 years. This is the thing. Home ownership is the key to restore. Say it with me. Restore Detroit. And that's every district. I came from right here, Mac. When I had him, I carried him on my hip to the bus stop to get to schools, to get my education, right on Newport and Mac right here. So, and then, that's a young adult, out on my own. My mother raised me right there on Garter between 8 Mile and Outer Drive. There was no black people anywhere, none. So we had to deal and learn about redlining at an early age. We had to learn about discrimination at an early age, and I did. Today I stand before you revived through all the trauma and distortment that Detroit can put on someone. If you live through it, you can overcome it. I'm asking you to vote because we need to restore our communities, our neighborhoods. We have invested enough downtown. We need to come together and make sure that our funds are being allocated to the neighborhoods. I am sorry that I miss you all. District 4, I've been trying to get over here to you. It's been a couple of events that you've had that I've scheduled other events at that time. But I'm glad to speak to those of you that are still here. And thank you for staying to listen to me. Right now, one of the biggest things we have is public safety. Economic development is not going to happen if businesses are not safe. They're not going to bring no money over here. They're not going to bring no gainful employment if we cannot make sure our residents qualify for the jobs. These are the things that we need to do. In order to do that, we have to fight against the proliferation of marijuana dispensaries and alcohol stores. Detroit is overpopulated. They're only supposed to have 214 in the whole city of Detroit liquor stores, and there's 384. Ask yourself that. Why? If we are trying to lift our people up in our neighborhoods, why are you putting so many things and giving them so much easy access to the things that tear them down? Talk politics. I'm not a traditional politician or a career politician, but I know how the game is. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm asking that you stand with me, and we're going to bring some integrity back into the city council at peace. Thank you. Again, my name is Cranston Anderson for District 3 City Council.
To-go plates, y'all. We got some to-go plates for as long as it lasts. Go and get your to-go plate.
Hello. It's okay. Okay, I think I got it.
Last statement. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, hi, I'm Scotty Bowman, and I'm running for police commissioner in District 4. I have to say, why am I running for police commissioner in District 4? There's a lot of reasons, but probably one of the biggest reasons is I was inspired by the leadership of Commissioner Willie Burton from this District 5. And because of his work, I'm inspired to help make up for the, we'll lose possibly some transparency, accountability, and a need to stick up for the civil liberties of Detroiters in the city of Detroit. So I hope to be a similar voice on the police commission from being elected in District 5. And again, I'm really happy to have been inspired by Commissioner Willie Burton's leadership. Thank you.
You know what? It's Civics 101. We ask each candidate to come and speak on their own behalf.
I did. And I'm the only
And so we're closing.
doing so.
Okay. You know what we're going to do? Use all of our common sense and our best judgment to select candidates that's going to represent us well. This is the end of this summit, and we want to thank Toy New Reeves for hosting it, facilitating, and all the people that were a part of it. I hope you all have a beautiful evening. God is smiling on us. Look at the weather. Enjoy.
Scotty. And I was talking about how I was inspired.
Thank you all for letting me speak. I
did not register with you guys because I didn't